All right. Hey,
What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good.
How are you?
I'm doing good. What about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just trying to get everybody on. There's Michael.
Okay.
Hey.
Michael,
What's going on?
what's going on?
How y'all doing?
Jenny. Doing pretty good. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
Well, yeah, I can't complain.
You're like, yet.
We've had a lot of rain back and forth the last few days around here. I don't know about y'all.
It rained pretty much off and on all weekend.
Yeah. 'Cause I was in Birmingham Saturday and I know it was raining.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that, I mean, it was okay. I mean, you know, some of my garden, it kept it from starting to go dormant. So I guess, I'll take it.
Gotta look at the positive side.
You really do. You really do. And then KU won tonight, so I'm good. I'm happy.
Yeah.
They played Michigan State, so it was not an easy feat, I think.
But it went well.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so the first half and then pretty much 2/3 of the last half it was just back and forth. I mean, it's way too close. And then we were able to pull away in the last minute or two. So that was, I hate it when they do that. It always gives me bad anxiety. I'm just like, could you just like get ahead early?
Go on, get ahead and stay there.
Yeah, like I don't have the blood pressure for this. This is bullshit. Like, but they did. I mean, we're a second half team, so at least it's one of those things where even if we're not doing so hot in the first half, we'll always manage to pull through in the second. So hopefully we'll continue to go all year.
Hello.
Caleb.
Hello.
How do you do?
How goes it?
Good. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Not bad.
Good.
Long time no talk, son.
I mean, I ain't
I know.
got a fancy microphone or nothing like that, but I mean, I'm hanging in there. You know what I mean?
Talking about this little thing?
Oh, hey.
Got to get my game up.
Well, see, I have to do that when I
man.
go to the shows. Like I always have to bring mine because I have the same one, but like I have to bring mine whenever we're doing the interviews and stuff like that from the shows because no one can hear me otherwise.
Yeah.
But for this, at least I'm in an office, so.
So what have you been doing, Caleb?
Man, been working, hanging out. Got some good breedings coming up. So, hey, looking forward to it. But tonight's about you, my man.
Got some good looking puppies on the ground.
Yes, man. Very, very, very thrilled with this. Couldn't have asked for a better letter. Nakai
Well,
is doing incredible marketing.
There's one light colored one in there that kind of got a look about him.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's a female, right?
A female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowhere. You know
Well,
it.
There to
Yeah.
stay.
well,
But no.
everybody.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Oh no, I was just seeing if if everyone's ready to get this wagon train a moving.
Absolutely. I'm just sharing it to some groups now.
Oh, sweet. Okay, good. For those of you who already joined us, this is Tuesday Night Bully Talk, and we've done something this month that I think one was long overdue, but two, super awesome. As our guest for each week, we're choosing one of our own. And so last week we got to sit down with our own, Bruce, and that was really cool. A lot of nostalgia, super, super fun. This week, our own Michael Higgason is our guest, Creekbait Kennels, and then we were able to, since Bruce was unavailable tonight, we've brought Trevon Mobley. So, who has also been a guest on our show. So that is that's a pretty big deal. So we're excited about that. And so, without further ado, let's get to know Michael a lot better.
Mr. Higgason.
Well, hello.
So, you know how we usually like to start. So, just kind of go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into bullies in the first place, and we'll just take it from there, won't we?
Yep. Well, I'm Michael Higgason from Creekbank Kennel, as you said, and I started with pit bulls as a young man, and as many of us did, um, and worked my way through that world a little bit, and come across these beautiful dogs, man, that are, for me personally, they're everything a pit bull is not, in all the right ways. Everything I wished a pit bull was when I was dealing with them, and so it worked out perfect for me. And I guess it's been about 4 years, 3.5 years, something like that, since I started really diving in. Um, I knew right off the bat, it's kind of weird now, but I knew that the education side of it, and the knowledge, and digging into the depths of genetics and pedigrees, and learning about the health, and trying to figure out what's best to feed these dogs and how to take care of them, and do the most for them you can. I just, like I said, about 3.5 years ago, I was pilfering around online trying to find anything I could find, trying to learn about the breed, and stumbled across Raul Fagundes and QBN Kennel. And it was back in the very beginning then. And I watched everything he had that I could get my hands on for about a year. Um, Came across a few other things. A few other people had some bully stuff, but nothing educational like he had. And it just captivated me, man. I dove in, watched everything I could find, started taking notes. It became more than what I did in my spare time. It became something that I was like almost obsessed with. I just, in a healthy way, I was just captivated by the dogs, and that people were down this road ahead of me that I was so intrigued by. I was like, oh, I can dig into this real far like I want to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I cut my teeth at with Raul. Um, Came across some people that were there with me in the beginning. One of them is this this wonderful young man right here. Um, yeah, exceptional dude, man. And Adam Fields is another one. Christopher Holiday is another one. Um, there has been, man, and so many good memories. Adam and Trevon have become like family to me, man. Um, y'all have become like family, but this is where my family started, and with the
Yeah.
bullies. And we were actually all at my first show. It's fun. Before I get into the shows though. So my QBN thing, it's weird now, but I didn't even know about the lives for like a year.
Oh yeah, I
What?
remember you saying
I
that.
I
You
told
just going and watching the
Raul about it.
videos.
I mean, I wasn't really looking at what they were called, other what the episodes were about, really. And
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
watching all this stuff, and I don't know. I just caught my eye one day. I'm like, live? What did it just happened to get on there on a Sunday morning? Just and it was like live right now. And then I was seeing the comments being asked and answered in real time, and I'm not real tech savvy, man. I've come a long way since then, but I had never seen anything like that. And I was like, oh, and then I tried to ask a question, and I wasn't a member, so went right on by me. And then he, mentioned something about being a member and all that. So I was like, oh man, got involved. Um, man, just fell in love with everything he was doing over there, and yeah, man, that's really where my education started at. And I was trying just really to get caught up because I felt like, so many respectable breeders, so many people that I looked up to, and still do. And I just felt behind, I'm grown. I'm all the way grown and been dealing with dogs all my life, but just never with the bullies until then. And, I didn't want to feel behind. I wanted to feel caught up. I wanted to be educated where I could get into the show world and talk dogs with anybody and not feel like I didn't know what I was talking about.
Right.
So I just dug in with that goal in mind, and I never looked back. And I'll tell y'all what, man, by the time I went around other breeders, it's crazy now to think about, but I'm just trying to have something to talk about and kind of know what I was doing a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when I started doing that, I realized like, oh, I know a little more than I thought.
Mhm.
And realized that like not that many people had dove in it like I had. And so not only had I caught up, but I felt
There
like I
we
really
go.
had a good understanding of things. And came to realize that my education was, top tier.
Yeah.
Learn every day, still learn every day.
Oh yeah.
Every time I talk dogs on this platform and on any other, I'm always learning, man. I don't know everything by any means, but I have gotten to a point where I feel like I do know some stuff and feel comfortable with sharing that with other people, and I've enjoyed the ride, man.
Well, I definitely know you've been a real blessing to this crew. It was just like you'd said, like the amount of knowledge that you bring to the table. You're super humble about it too, which is crazy. But like, yeah, you teach me something new every single time you're on.
Well,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that has been incredibly refreshing. We really enjoyed that. Just having you added to the team. So making our family bigger, and I feel stronger. So obviously it's fun for us to learn more about you because again, like I mean, I don't really. I'm trying to remember, Michael. When was the first time you and I met? I can't remember if it was either at the show in Bessemer or if
Think
you
it
had traveled to do either the season opener or the Labor Day show in Columbia for
Columbus,
ABKC or Columbus rather.
Yeah, we were uh both. We were at
Yeah.
Bessemer first,
I
and
think it was
then
Bessemer. Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's where and Adam correct me, it's Bedmer.
Bessemer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bedmer.
yeah.
It's Bedmer.
You just drop
But
every S right out of there. Just get rid of it.
yeah,
Don't need it. Get rid of
so that was where we all did our first show together. Obviously, I met Trevon for the first time in person when we had the hot sauce
Yeah.
challenge.
The hot sauce challenge.
Oh
And
gosh, I didn't know I was going to make an appearance.
contrary to what you may have think if you've seen the video, that's not my jam. Okay. I would never do it again. I don't get down like that. But Raul, man, golly.
He's persuasive, I bet. I
He
bet.
did. He caught me right in the groove, man. It got me fired up. And he's like,
Literally.
Michael Higgason. He's like, man, I'm so glad you're here, buddy. I mean, golly, it's great to put a face with the name. I'm like, man, I'm glad to be here. And he's like, that's what's up,
What's
man.
up?
He's like, you like competition? I'm like,
Oh, no, he didn't.
hell yeah.
But
You
that's
know,
Yeah.
and
how
he's
he
like,
pitched.
oh, that's what's
Oh,
up. He's
good.
like, what about y'all? And they were like, yeah. And he's like, well, we got one for you. And then we like shifted gears and went into this whole premeditated thing. And I was like, oh no, you got me, man.
Clever. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's clever. That's clever. I'm here for it.
I remember my heart was pounding and I was like, oh no, what have we
Just tell
done? And it
We
I
went
tell
got
you
to,
what, look, he would not give up. He kept going. I tell you
I'll
that.
tell you,
He a fighter for sure.
look, man, it went way too far. All of us deserved awards for that. Like we smashed the whole bottle of hot. I mean, it was ridiculous, man. There's no
Yeah.
sense of it going. Look, some of the guys that had already had it the year before when they did something similar, they were scared,
Yeah.
like sweating. There's like, y'all got to stop. Like this is enough, you know. But yeah, that's where me and him started, and yeah, been family ever since, man. And uh, got tied in with y'all at Bessemer. I remember got to actually meet y'all
Yeah.
in the flesh the
I
first
got you
time.
down there. I got you down there. That's the reason why you came to that show.
Yep, and I came down there to see Big Jen, man. I wanted to see everybody, meet everybody, and I wanted to see Genesis, man. I had my eye on him, and I had heard all this stuff and heard he was going to be there, and I was excited about that, you know. Um,
Yeah, man.
yeah, rest in peace, Big Jen, man. That was a great performance, man. Nakaya was supposed to be showing him, and just Caleb just got thrown out there,
Oh,
man,
bless.
and yeah, it was
I
it was
love that
great.
that
Oh
was
man.
how you met Genesis, and you just saw how he did Caleb like that. That was so funny.
I'm gonna
That was
tell you
your
something, man. So
man.
like I hadn't even spoke to Caleb at that time. You know, I was just watching from a distance, and I hadn't had a chance to be introduced to him yet. And seeing him interacting with his family, and the girls were there, and Jen, and they were getting set up. We went over there and helped him set his booth up. Me
Yeah.
and Trevon did, and that's when I really got to meet him for the first time. And then when I seen him come out there in the ring, and the way everybody cheered for Genesis and stuff, and like I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
it was something, you know. And
Yeah.
the Genesis effect. He had it.
yeah, he
Yeah,
did,
man.
man.
Good.
He
He
did.
dominated. His presence alone. As
Oh
soon
yeah.
as he walked in the ring, he
You
was
when that dog when it came in the building, you knew it, and
I
that was
remember
just wow.
I remember that night. Something that stuck out to me about him. There was, I don't know how many dogs there, man. A lot. That was
Happened.
pretty packed show that
yeah.
that
Well,
time, and
Yes, it was.
and I was looking at all these dogs lined up, you know, and I was thinking like, man, there's a lot of big, beautiful dogs out here, and there was only one tail wagging in the ring, and I thought,
every time.
the first time I noticed that, like, I'm like, man, he's the only one with his tail wagging.
Uh-huh.
And then so I started paying attention, and it just caught my eye how proud he was of what he was doing, and his awareness of being in the ring and competing. And now my boy does that too. And they're the only two I've really seen do it. It's not a
Yeah.
common thing,
It's not.
but but
No.
he loves it, man. And Jen did, and he loved it. But yeah, we got together, and then we had the pleasure of all being at nationals together. But we were at the season opener too, Amanda. We were at
Yes, yes.
in
I
Columbus,
remember
Georgia.
watching because Lily Faye was yeah, she was doing juniors.
Yep,
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
yep.
oh, that was wow, man. Watching her in the ring, man. You're doing you yeah, you and Christina, you guys are doing so good. You know, getting her
Yeah.
prepared and confident. I mean, she's got it. It's just wonderful to watch it. You know you guys are just so
Yeah.
proud and so cute, and she's
Yeah.
so
And
Yeah,
she
good.
you know,
loved doing it herself. That's the
Uh,
great thing about it. She like doing it
she
herself, like
it
just
happens
without
so
force.
naturally. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had some of my best. It's funny. We all talk about this being a dream, but this was a dream to me 25 years ago, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I wanted. You know, I have built my way into my own dreams now.
There
Real,
we
real
go.
talk, and I just hoped and imagined that it would bring my family together like it did.
Mm-hmm.
But even in my dreams, man, it wasn't as great as how it was in real life, man. To see my wife running around, keeping up with who's on next, and taking pictures and networking and everything, and then me and Lily showing back and forth, and
Yeah.
Lily doing so well and
So,
loving it. She ran up to me after pausing the boot last
Mm-hmm.
year, and at Scott Mosby's show down there in Louisiana,
mhm.
and man, ran up to me after the show. She hadn't said a word about nothing all night, and I'm like, she's doing really well. I mean, she about swept the show,
Yeah.
and she hadn't really said anything about like having a good time or anything at all. And she's kind of in her earbuds and stuff. And I was like, I hope she's enjoying this. Hope she don't feel like I'm forcing her to do it or something like that because I want it so bad or anything. And then she ran up to me after the show, and I've told some of y'all this, but she ran up and jumped in my arms and wrapped all her limbs around me like a koala bear, man, and squeezed me so tight. And and she said, "Thank you, Dad." And I said, "For what, baby?" And she said, "For making this happen for me." And I was like, "Oh, you know,
Right in the field. Oh,
it was one of those dad moments that like I'll never forget. And the dogs did that, man. The dogs brought us together and made that possible, man. It's just such a great thing. It really
Mm-hmm.
was. And so, yeah, man, we're all in. We love it. Lily's bugging me about shows right now.
What's the next show y'all think y'all going to? Speaking of shows.
um,
uh-oh.
we want to go to Paws in the Boot.
Uh-huh.
We had fun down there. I want to go to Nationals bad, man.
Yep.
Um, some of y'all know and some of y'all don't. We may not get into it tonight, but it's been a rough year. A lot going on. Um, Also, my dogs really, there's an age, and this is just my opinion, there's an age that's really tough for a dog, especially a dog with slower blood. And when you're at like 14, 16 months, 13 months, anywhere, I'd say 13 to 17, 18 months, the dogs don't really look grown,
Yeah.
but they're in the 1 to 2 class,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 2-year-old dogs in there. And those 2-year-old dogs, they look a little more grown.
Yeah. Mhm.
And, and no matter, I mean, there are freaking natures, don't get me wrong, dogs that, 8,
Yeah.
9, 10 months old that just look like grown men.
Look like a whole man out
Yeah.
there in that ring.
Some of them have that faster blood like that. And it shows like that young. I've seen it.
Yeah.
But some don't. Some dogs get big and beautiful and got everything going for them. And it takes them 2.5, 3 years to get there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yep.
And so we were showing a lot and bumping into that same issue where the dog looks great, they're just older, more mature dogs in that class in the ring, and it was kind of holding us back. We wanted the exposure, we wanted the dogs to get the feel for the ring and being around all the other dogs and people and everything and kind of get used to it, but um we wanted to come back in at the higher end of that 1 to 2 year class, and where the dog looks like he's the older dog and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and so we're to that stage now. So yeah, we'd like to catch a couple shows before the end of the year. I definitely want to hit Paws in the Boot if possible. There's a couple we really wanted to go to. Kim Blue and them had a show in New Orleans that we wanted to go to, couldn't quite make it. Would have liked to have went to that. But yeah, man, we're ready to get back in. That's for sure.
I
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
yeah, it's a bug. It is a bug for
It
sure.
is.
The moment you get in that ring, you're sitting there thinking like, I need to do this a lot more
It's
often.
not for the faint-hearted, man. For people thinking about getting into showing and stuff, you better pack a lunch. It's one of those long, grueling things that you don't know how worth it is till you put that sweat equity in, man. And then at the end, you're like, man, it's been a long day, and we killed it, or like,
Yeah.
or we learned a lot, or we
Yeah.
met all these people,
We
or
learned a lot.
you
Yeah. Oh,
know,
absolutely.
like and it's just such an experience, man. And for me, my heart's in the show, man. I love it. I do. I I
Yeah.
think if you're whether you're breeding or not, I think that's where the competition's at. Um, that's where, if you're trying to go see what you got, that's where you go find out at.
There we go.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely. And then there's that after show hangover. Like, oh my God, it is a real thing. I am telling you,
It
like,
is.
I am useless the day after a show. It
My
is miserable.
my
I'm
wife
useless,
says I make her
very
drive home
useless.
every time.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. What?
I
Yeah.
got nothing left. I always start off driving, and then I'm like 2 hours in, and she's like, "We got a long way to go, bud." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done. It's over with."
Tapping
Tapping.
out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, that's, I think because I do this myself. Like I have to be pretty mindful for that exact reason. Like I have to
Yeah.
be real mindful about how far I go. Like I've said it, multiple times before, but like I have a 4 hour max, like one way trip. Like if it's more than 4 hours away from me drive time, I'm probably not going because of how, I know that, depending on what time that show ends, anywhere between 6 p.m.
Yeah.
and 10.
And depending on how big the show, it might go on a little
Yeah.
longer. It might
Oh
drag
my
11,
on.
gosh, I
11:30 at
know.
times.
Anyway,
Oh
Columbus,
man,
Columbus
we've
every
had some
time.
late ones. I've
that's
spent
Yeah.
late nights with all of
really,
y'all.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
In
yeah.
Yeah,
Bessemer, we got ran out. We got ran out by the by the
we
building.
did. We
yeah,
did.
yeah. We really kind of bucked on them a little bit too.
Well,
Man.
and I missed out on that because, like, so my friend was in town from Germany, and so she was there for the first part of the show, and then she ultimately she had a couple things because that was the last day she was there, so she had to go home and finish packing. So Matt came and picked her up and everything. So after that, I was just like, well, once the sanctioned shows are done, I'll do Ladies Stack Off, and then I left. So if there was
Yeah.
anything after that, I don't remember it,
Well,
but.
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you
it
what.
was
I'll
such
tell
a
you what
great
happened
show.
after that. The guy that was running security that night or whatever, he was grasping at straws, man. And he kind of came up to me and he's like, man, they're supposed to be out of here in 30 minutes. It seems like there's a lot going on. And I said, bud, there ain't no way we'll be out of here in 30 minutes. And
I
he's
don't
like,
have to tell you, man.
he started
Yeah.
Dang.
talking about fines and all this. I said, this ain't my show, dog.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to tell
You're
you.
talking to the
Oh,
wrong person.
man. You're like, he's
Yeah,
around here somewhere. Come on.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I would
Yeah, there were a lot of
say,
people that came in from out of town for that show. I mean, we had people we knew that had come in from like Texas, the Midwest, Florida, and from the Carolinas or Tennessee. So that was a
Yeah.
pretty, and then obviously from Arkansas and everything. So like that was
yeah,
a very.
Texas. Jonathan was there from Texas that night.
Mhm.
Um, something they did that night, and I've seen it in a couple places, but I don't know if I seen it like that, man. And I don't know if it was anything to do with whose show it was or where we were at. Just the crowd that was there that night. It was electric, man, and they did they got all them XLs over there, man,
That
and
was a big
they had like
stack.
I got
Yeah, big
videos
stuff.
of it, man. There was like
Yeah.
20 or 30 dogs,
Yep.
and they were all stacked up side by side, man. And I was like, oh wow, like that was the first time I seen
Yeah.
anything like that, man.
That was
That
cool.
Yeah.
was that
You
was cool,
rarely,
man.
rarely see that many XLs in one place for them to
Yeah,
stack up like that.
that was a
I don't know
lot
that
of
I've seen
XLs.
that many XLs in one place
I
since then.
Yeah, like they could have
Me neither.
on
I
the
never
stage.
have.
We
Like
had to go in front of the
that was
stage.
one of those shows that like when you saw how many XLs were in the building, I think there were quite a few when we went to Candy's Cinco de Mayo show earlier that year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um, But at the same time, yeah, this one, I've never seen that many XLs in one spot. I don't even know if any of the Texas shows I've ever been in that many in one spot before. That was wild, and it was really cool because that's what we want. That's what we've been trying to like pitch to
Yeah.
people. Bring out the big dogs, bring them out, bring them
Yeah.
out, bring them out, and they
I wonder
did.
if that was. I wonder if that had anything to do with the fact that there was an XL PC show at the beginning there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think that
I don't know that
definitely
I've been to another XLPC show. That may be where they're all hiding them at.
Yeah, I can't remember where I've seen the next XL PC. There was
I don't know
there's
that I've.
another one coming up, but I can't remember if it's in one of the Carolinas.
Oh, I'm putting y'all on the spot. Y'all ready?
Oh crap!
There's a show in Arkansas, and it's only like 4-ish hours away, maybe 5 or 6, but it's like it's right up the road from me here, man. I think it's in April of next year. I shouldn't have even said it. I don't know the name of the show, but it's an ABKC show in Conway. I think it's in Conway, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Coming up in April, man. I'd love for y'all to come, man. We're gonna be
Yeah, I told you I
Where
was coming
where
already.
yeah.
in Arkansas is Conway?
Conway is about 25 minutes from me, but it's probably an hour from Little Rock. It's about
Hey,
45
post the flyer.
minutes from Little Rock.
Hey, if you can find the flyer, post the flyer after so we can make arrangements and then
Yeah.
everyone
I
watching
will. If
can
my
make
wife's, I don't know if my wife's listening or not right now. She might be, or if she may be jumping in and out. I don't know if she's in right now, but
Yeah.
she,
Because I think she the one who had sent the flyer to me originally, so
yeah,
she probably got
yeah,
it.
she does
Yeah.
know. But it is an ABKC show, so it should be on their website of April of 2025.
I'll
But
have to check
Yeah.
that'll
into
be.
that.
So we wanna host a show here. I guess whoever that was, they either knew somebody or wanted it better than I did. I guess I don't know how that is, man. I mean, I'm not gonna say somebody can't want it more than me, but I wanted it pretty bad, and it took me 2 months to get in touch with them folks at the Expo Center there in Conway.
Yeah.
Really?
Uh, I called 100 times. I'm telling you, I called 100 times, and I left all kind of messages and talked to 2 or 3 different people. I couldn't get the person that was making decisions on the phone, and I finally went down there, and the guy told me that they had a dog show there. I guess a couple years prior, I think is what he told me, and not only did they end up having to keep the folks' deposit, but they were really dissatisfied with the way that they respected the building and all this stuff. It wasn't a bully show, but
Yeah.
whatever it was, they burned them bad, and
Yeah.
they did not want to ever have a dog show there again. They told me because Kev Green had recommended like doubling or tripling the deposit for them if it would make them feel better. Like, hey, look, sorry about what happened to y'all before, but you want $1,000 deposit. Here's 3,000. We're gonna take care of
Wow.
the place. We'll be out of there. We'll clean up. We'll let us change your heart about this because you got a great
Yeah.
facility. You got a.
I
They
like
weren't
that.
trying.
Bully
They weren't trying to hear.
advocates.
They weren't trying to hear none of that, man. So I don't
Uh,
know how whoever did it. Kudos to them. I'm glad they did it. I'll definitely be lingering around and make sure they don't need any help, taking care of it because we want to have some more there. It's like I said, it's that expo center is like 20 minutes from my house, man, and it's
Mm.
huge. Great
That'd be
place for a
awfully
dog show.
convenient.
Yeah, it's big,
Michael is
man.
going to be
It's
on
like,
patrol that day. I can't wait to
oh,
see
I'll
this.
be
He's
all,
going to be out there with the pooper scooper and
bro.
man,
Think
the
about
I'm,
their job.
reflective vest. But
hey,
no, we need it. We need to take in consideration that we need to clean up after ourselves, especially when we go to venues. There's too many times we go to these nice venues and walk by, poop. Clean up
mm-hmm,
after your dog.
mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a big thing, man, because it's like in the moment you're scrambling around, you're trying to keep up with, but you still got to take the time, especially if you don't have a party with you,
Yeah.
and like if you don't have anybody to help you, you got to stop, man. And of course, they put trash cans at all 4 corners of the ring. When you walk in the loop, your
And
dog's
then
going to take
some.
a shot at the can. You can't really do much about that, but he's going to hike a leg and shoot a missile at it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
as far as poop, man, you got to clean it up because it gets out of there, man, and it becomes a burden
Yes.
for those people to allow you to have a show there, and that's what happened here. So I'm really gonna do all I can to help them make sure that everything goes well. We can keep having shows there. I mean, I'd love to host a show here in Arkansas. We've got a lot of good bulls here, a lot of breeders here, and one thing I've noticed about Arkansas is most of our breeders are like off the grid, man. We got a lot going on here you don't really hear about, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you do. You got a lot of
yeah,
dogs just popping out the woodwork.
yeah. There's a lot of people that like, they're not even involved in the community or nothing. They're just breeding dogs. I don't know what their deal is with it, but they're just real
Hey,
private about it. But they got a lot of
yeah.
bulls here, man. A lot.
As long as I bring them out, baby, that's the whole goal, and that's the kind of the hardest part is getting people to bring their dogs out, which is actually kind of impressive for a state where it's like you've got people just popping out randomly, and you're sitting there thinking like, oh, okay, well, I mean, are they going to go to any more shows? But hey, as long as they come to mine,
There's,
Yeah.
there's
I'll
Fred
take,
Duran
I'll
came on.
take it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, Jerry said they don't have electricity. What's up, Fred? Hey, Michael, I
uh-oh.
love it, man. I love that the backbone of it's the show world for you, and I love how your family got involved. And Lily Faye, like, man, I remember you calling me after that show, and you were, man, you were like, man, it was amazing. It was amazing,
Was.
Jeff. And I love that you want to host a show in Arkansas, man. And I love the drive and how you put the education. And I love how you started the program, you and your family. And I want to dive deep into the Creek Bank Kennels. Like, what is going on there? What's the future? What does the future hold for y'all?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked.
Start off with the name. How did y'all come up with that name?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's a good question.
okay. So we like the creek. Yeah, the concept of the creek. We feel like it's a good depiction of like just a rural thing, a country thing, outdoors and all that. It just creek feels like home, And we toyed around with the different names that we could get it. Of course, when you get looking at LLCs and stuff like that, creek water and all this. Just there was a lot of options that weren't there, weren't available, and so
Yeah.
we were picking through what we could get to fly. And I have a creek. I actually have 10 acres out here, and there's
Dang.
there's a creek that runs through our property, and so that it'll be out there close to where I'm gonna build our facility, and that was part of it too. Um, we really enjoy that whole vibe. So that's where the name came from, tied to our creek and kind of our vibe and stuff out here in Arkansas. Um, been doing a lot of work this property and this whole thing. It's been quite a process. And when I moved here, there was nothing here. Nothing had ever been put here. There was nothing. It was just property, right? And it was about 6 acres of woods and the rest, yard. And we got established here, got set up here, started our little farm. We've got a bunch of chickens and goats, and we've had all kind of stuff. Um, we even have an American guinea hog that is a neat little deal. But anyway, we've got all that going, and
I'm trying to envision this in my head right now. I don't know if I don't even know if I'm
oh,
close.
I just think a pig with
I
a
didn't
big
even
old
know
teeth like
what
a
an
guinea
American
pig.
guinea hog was. Okay, so what it is, it's actually the cleanest kind of pork you can get. Of course, once you name this is what I learned from having a farm. This is my first farm. I didn't grow up on a farm. I didn't grow up in a country like that. I've always admired the country and wanted to wind up there, and always had contact, and my grandfather was in the country. So as a kid, I grew up, a couple times a year I'd go out there and fish and hunt and shoot guns, and that's what we did. And I always loved it. I always made my mind up when I got done being all over the world, I would wind up in the country.
Yeah.
And And anyway, here we are. So started putting a dream together, putting a plan together to get this property ready to sustain, the things that we have coming on the horizon, man. And been doing a lot of work clearing, and just cleared about 6 acres of woods.
Woo!
We got nothing left but a bunch of oak trees out there now. There'll be plenty of shade in all the right places. You
Good.
can see straight across the property to the creek bank now, and we're gonna build an indoor facility this coming year
Uh,
out here, and
That's what I'm talking about.
we've been real patient about it, man. It's been so hard to wait. There's a lot of things that would have worked just fine that we could have already had up by now, but trying to get things in motion to go ahead and do exactly what we want to do, and I've got the blueprints drawn up and all kind of stuff.
you
Hell,
read.
I got an itemized part list and
I'm sure you do.
different
I would
bids
expect
on the
nothing
concrete
less.
and all that,
Yes.
but we got it picked out, man. Got a pretty good thing drawn up. We're gonna put it on a property where we can eventually have a second building, and we'll have like a breezeway that goes from one to the next as we expand. So we'll leave room for that behind. But the first building it's going to be enough to have the office and the puppy room and the kitchen, to do like raw diets and whatever else we want to
Do all your
incorporate
mixing
there.
there.
So we'll have a kitchen area, a grooming area, a puppy area, and like an office reception area with a couch, and maybe be out there watching the game with my dogs or something like that, and then
Yeah, man.
have a partition wall that goes into a separate. It'll be 1/3 of the building will be all those 4 rooms, and then 2/3 of the building will be runs. So go through that partition wall, and then it's all runs from there back. Double doors in the back where we can back the truck right up to it and load up dogs to go to shows.
Nice.
Yeah, we're
Show history is going to be a future more so than history now.
I'm
Yeah.
excited, man. I'm excited. It's hard. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. Some people make it look easy, but it's been a lot for us to put everything together. But
Step by step. It takes
yeah,
time.
Oh
it
yeah,
does. It is. It's a step-by-step thing, man.
progress not
Christina said,
Uh,
perfection.
yeah. So whenever this is so funny. So along the way, we were talking dogs. I think it was with Caleb actually, and we're talking dogs. This is probably a year or so ago, and somebody was talking about sleeping with out there with the puppies or something. I
Yeah, when
forget
they
who.
were the first week of whelping.
Yeah, and my wife, she was like, we're talking puppies, and she's like, oh yeah, we're just so. And then they start talking that. She was like, started backing up. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. She's crawfishing on me, And I was like, hey. And
Trap.
she's like, hey, come here a minute. I said, what's up? She's like, you don't think I'm sleeping out there with the
I
dogs, do you? And I'm like,
remember this
oh,
conversation.
I'm like, yeah, we're sleeping. She's like, nah, that's where, hey, I can mama bear in the daytime, and when it's time to sleep with the dogs, you can sleep your butt out there with the dogs. I'm like, oh.
Oh man.
But yeah, yeah,
Man,
mama.
I would have a hard time. Well, I'm kind of the exact opposite where I'm such a control freak and I'm super paranoid. I would like we're talking. My bed would be like in the whelping.
Right,
It's like, it
right.
would
Like I got a pallet by the
be,
dogs.
Kyle Weddle.
oh man,
Here's
I
the
would
thing
always be
about
the
my
winner.
wife.
I'd be terrible.
My wife has
That would
got
have to come and find me, and he'd be like, again.
absolutely. Look, she while she's fronting, right? I'm gonna give her
She's
all the room in
front.
the front. Well, I'm gonna give her all the room in the front, however much she wants to. But whenever she gets done, she's got the biggest heart out of anybody I've ever known, and she
There we go.
gets her front on because she don't like walking the dog. She likes to make me do all that, but she will be out there because she's, man, I tell you, she's just such a mama at heart, just
That's
she
good.
just mamas everything around here. It just And if you're close enough to reach, you'll be getting mama by her too. She'll mama you too. She's kind of the mama at the show. So
She is. She's show mom. She is
she
show mom.
is she
She
is
really
show
is.
mom says.
Yep.
I love it.
Oh
That is
yeah.
mom for sure.
Yeah, y'all
That
at
is
nationals
Yeah.
was so fun. It was so fun.
I mean, I have to admit, it's kind of hot to me. I'm just saying, to me personally. The whole show mom
Easy
vibe
there.
and stuff. I mean, you
easy,
start getting this
easy,
gray
fan
in here
off.
like that. You start getting, different things start doing it for you. Hey, the show mom's where it's at.
Hey. Yeah, she's wonderful. She's absolutely wonderful. You are an incredibly lucky man.
I am. I
No
am.
question in that.
Michael, I
That's
love,
something. Go ahead,
man,
Caleb.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I really want to toot your horn, man. Like the moment we met you, you had an exact plan. You had a plan on
Look at
exactly what you want out of your program. Out of what you want out of showing, out of what you're looking for a dog, and you've never ever differed from that vision. Like the Creek Bank Kennel, I love the name. I love Trevon that you mentioned to mention the name, and you literally said it's at the Creek Bank. You're putting the kennel at the Creek Bank. So there's so much meaning behind it because not only is that behind you, but it's also the vibe that y'all also give, like you were saying. You are looking not only at the first building, you're looking at the second building, an overpass going across the creek, I'm guessing, for the second building or wherever it is, a breezeway, and you are going to do it. The blueprints, I guarantee you've gone over them numerous times.
Yeah.
Builders are
dude,
probably, he's calling again.
He
Here
not
he
lying because I seen one of them. I seen one of them, so he's not lying. He got the blueprint.
I
Yes,
believe
yeah, I
that.
do, man.
but everything is completely genuine from the showing to the daughter winning at shows to the wife being involved to the plans that are taking place. Follow this gentleman, follow his family, follow his program. He is doing some absolutely incredible things going on over there. And if this man says he's going to do something, he's going to do it.
Do it.
He's gonna do it.
All respect.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all for that,
You
man. That
gonna do
means a lot.
Absolutely.
It really does.
And
One of the
mama
things,
gonna be right there beside on
yeah,
every step of the way to
Every
make sure
Oh
he stay
yeah,
step
on
of the way.
track.
Every step of the
yeah.
way.
someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. It might as well be her, I suppose.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
that's the way I see it.
When Lily Faye took that lead, man, Michael fell in love with the dogs all over again. Lord
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mhm.
Now that just fueled the fire that was already there, the plan that was there, and now it is a completely family affair. I
Yep.
love what's taking place over there, Michael.
Oh,
Thank you, man.
full steam
Thank you.
ahead all
And
around. I mean,
right back at you, brother. I love y'all's family vibe too, man. If there's anybody else that I know that's in this thing like I am, that's got that same family dynamic, man, y'all, it's beautiful to watch. It is. It's great. So I know you share the pride that's in that because it's really uncomparable, man. When you got your whole squad there with you, and everybody's doing their thing. It's great. And you look back at the pictures, you're like, golly, did that really even happen?
oh yeah.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I just can't believe it. I remember Lily competing for the what do they call it, where it's not the popularity contest, but it's the
Best
um
human?
The crowd,
is it viewers choice or something like that?
yeah, crowd choice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crowd.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're all in Louisiana. We didn't even know anybody down there. And Lily's there's all these kids out there and their dogs, and it's getting small. The herd's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and they're cheering. And what about this one? What about that? And it's getting down. And it's between Lily and this other girl that was a judge at that show, a junior handler judge.
What?
And I mean, th- they I don't want to say they gave it to the girl because she won it, but it was so close, man. And I
Yeah.
was like, how did this even happen? And Lily was so proud. She's like, I felt like I did pretty good. Nobody even knows us here. And I'm like, yeah, you did.
I think you did pretty good. I
Yeah.
think
And
Yeah.
then she's like, what happened? She said, Dad, what happened? And I was like, everybody's been watching you all night, baby. That's what you
you
don't realize.
took
And
it. Yeah.
I told her, I said, I'm not trying to add pressure to you. I just want you to realize that what you do out here, it's electric, man. And everybody's got their eye on you, and you're doing such a
Mhm.
great job, you know. And you can just see that she loves it.
Oh,
She gets in the zone. She always tells me how she gets nervous the first round, and after that, she just zones out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm
I
She and
love
I
it.
actually had a conversation about that. Like, I want to say it was at Columbus.
Columbus, yeah, I remember.
Uh-huh.
I
And she,
remember her telling me about it.
we were standing ringside, waiting for her to get called in. And, we were just talking about how to get over your nerves. And I'm sitting there thinking like, I'm more nervous than she is. And she's looking at me like, I'm gonna calm her down. I was like, girl, no, it's the other way around, man. You're helping me out. You're doing me up because I'm
Hey,
thinking,
what a powerful facility that was,
Yeah.
right?
oh gosh, the vibe in that joint. Like you just can't have a bad show there. You really just
That
can't. It
building
was
was
the best.
amazing, man.
Mhm.
It was like medieval almost,
Yeah.
like an arena for a castle or something. It was so cool there.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. It is super neat. And yeah, they definitely, keep up with it very well. And again, I've never been to a bad show there. It's everyone's been really good about,
Yeah. One of my favorite
making it
venues.
natural.
Lily, Christina said Lily's excited to show Kata. Kata's the female we got at Bully Pride Production,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
she's a
Could be a
butch little thing. I tell you what, she
she
I'm looking
means
forward
it.
to it.
she's butch, man. She looks just like her mama, but she's built really well. She's doing really well, and that's I know it's supposed to be about me in a way tonight or whatever, but Kayla, let me tell you something, man. There hasn't been a night since we've had that puppy that she hasn't slept. No, I take that back. The very first night I had the puppy,
Yeah.
I had to set the hook. For you for those of y'all that are parents, you understand, right? So the very first night I had Kata with me, and it looks
You were
like
trying so hard to get
she,
her hooked,
she
huh?
said she said
Oh, never works
she
out.
said look she said, Dad, can the puppy sleep with me tonight? I was like, no, this is my puppy. I'm sleeping with the puppy, and she's like, and I'm like. I said, Mom, you drive all the way to Alabama and get you a puppy? I said, it's my puppy. I'm sleeping with the puppy. And I said, I'll let you play with her tomorrow. We'll see if you can act right with her and all that, And I
Famous last words.
and
It's fine. We all get it.
I got into bed with her and I looked at my wife and she was like, and I said, I'm gonna give it to her tomorrow. And then,
Bill.
and then tomorrow she's like, Dad, can I please? I was like, I guess, look, you're gonna have to do this and then, like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to
Yeah.
get up with her. You're gonna have to make sure this and that. She's like, I'll do
Yep.
anything, just whatever, And she has slept with her every night of her life since
That's
Yep.
then.
what's up. I
And
love
that
it. I love
and
it.
One
they are inseparable, man. She's back there with her now.
Yes.
little
And
victory.
it's
Hey, Mulatto and Duce
Yeah, I was
produced
about to
that puppy. A
say,
beautiful
I was
puppy.
about to ask
Beautiful
you
lady.
which breeding that was off of, but yeah, mulatto. Man, what a bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, she bad. She
and
bad. So
they are
that was
and
bound to
I'm
be an
telling you, the
amazing bird.
females in that litter, two of them anyway. The one that Caleb kept, one of the two Caleb kept, and mine, they're almost twins. I think the one Caleb kept just a little bigger than Caleb, but they're almost identical twins,
Yeah.
and they both look so much like their mama. And what's crazy is she really throws her look in
Yes,
that
she does.
Does.
that there's a generation ahead of this one. The name of that
Leah.
puppy escapes me. Huh?
Leah. Leah.
Leah.
Genesis and Mulatto looks just like her.
Look, if you don't have something to reference in the picture, you'd think it's my puppy or his puppy, or from the
Yeah.
Duce Mulatto breeding.
Yep.
Yep.
She throws a look that looks just like her, man. I mean, and both of our girls look just like that dog.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly. You're
yeah,
absolutely right.
Oh yeah, you do
but
have to preface it, otherwise no one's gonna know. I mean, now with that said though, I feel that it's because they look so much not just alike in regards to each other, but they look so much like their mother that
mother, yeah.
that's dead giveaway.
Oh,
Dead
oh,
giveaway. I know it's
I
from that
mean,
litter. That's about all I know. You have to tell me which one it
One
is.
thing about
Yeah,
Mulatto,
yeah,
she throws clones. That's a
Yeah,
fact.
she does.
yeah. Because I know it was a picture that Nakai took with all three of them, and I was looking. I was like, "Who is who?" Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
Good luck.
telling
And it's
No, good
crazy.
luck.
Man, you know how much work we had to do for that picture? They are so goofy.
Right.
Like, they will start scooting down that hill, man. Like, Levi did it, Mulatto did it, Leah did it. Oh, they are hilarious. The temperament on them, it's so funny, man.
you.
Yeah.
That is something. All my dogs that I've got, both the bulls that I got from Raul, all my dogs have just a great temperament. Bullies in
Yes.
general, a real well-bred bully to me. There may have been a hot blood here and there that you have to kind of be mindful of that I've heard about, but I ain't seen it. Every dog that I've seen has been temperament's been so good, man. It's our breed as a whole has the best all around temperament of any bulldog,
Yeah.
and that's any class. They don't hardly bark a lot. They don't make a lot of noise unless they're snorting like little piggies. Uh, and they're just cool dogs, man. I mean, I was thinking back to what you said a minute ago about kind of how all the things that I've been planning to do that I've been building all along and all this. And I think that would be my best advice to give to somebody, man. Sit down, take the time, figure out what it is that you want to do, what you want to represent, figure out your niche, figure out what kind of dogs you want to produce, figure out your facility, figure out where are you going with this, what are you trying to do, and then and that's a hard thing to do. You got to really, you can't just toy around while you're watching Netflix. You got to really map out some stuff, sit down with a notebook and draw out some things, visualize, get your dreams put in motion that way. And I think that's just the way I do it, but I've learned over the years that a lot of my success is because of the way I do it. you know you got to tackle this thing, man, and figure out what the hell you're doing,
There you
and then figure out, like, this is what you want to do and this is what it's going to take to do it, and then, okay, well, where do we start, and then what's our next move, what's our next best move, and then start chipping away at it, man. And I think people get wrapped up and they don't do enough of that. They don't do enough planning. They're just kind of just like, oh yeah, 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 like a kid in a candy store, and don't think it through enough, man. And if you're gonna, it is about the dogs, but it is also a business, man. And it's got to be handled with some vision, if you ask me. And to anybody starting, man, my recommendation would be spend a couple years, man. Get a dog if you have to have one, but spend a couple years just researching, man, digging, learning, figure out, because as soon as you think you know what you like and what you think a dog's supposed to look like and what you think you want and all that, you 6 months from then you'll be in a whole nother world. And then 6 months from then you'll be like, dang, I thought I've had it figured out, but really now it's this and that. So take at least a year, man, but I'd say 2 years, and just go to shows, get involved, talk dogs, talk breed type, talk genetics, learn some of this stuff, figure out what's going on. And if you'll take the time to do that, when the tides of the economy rise and fall, you won't fall off so easily. And all these breeders that are like, oh, they're selling their dogs, they're getting out. They're going, well, that's happening because they really kind of flew by the seat of their pants to begin with,
go. Yeah.
and they over invested at the wrong times and all this stuff, and didn't really have a plan.
Yeah. Got a plan?
Got to have a plan, man. Got to set up for the long game, because the one thing I know about breeding and setting up a program, if you're building a real program, if you're building anything to last, it's going to take years to get any kind of momentum at all. And that's something I commend Raul for so much, man. He really instilled it in those of us that cut our teeth there at QBN, man, about just what a process it really is and how long it takes to, you're going to be 2 or 3 years in before you're out of the red at all,
Yeah.
even climbing out of the red. And then you're going to be 4 or 5 years in before you're actually see a penny. that's not money you spent.
Right. I actually profit.
And
Yeah,
right,
actually,
that's why you're pouring it back into your program for
yeah,
like
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
building.
that profit goes right back into the program, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, if the love is
you
not
know,
there, it's going to be a fail immediately. It's going to
Yeah.
be a fail
If
completely
it,
immediately.
if the
And then, like
if the
you're talking
love not
about
there,
Uh-huh.
depending on
100%.
how far you want to take it, a business plan needs to be drawn up. A business plan needs to be executed.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and, like you said, fly by the seat of your pants.
yeah.
You know,
Sinatra.
I know, hey, Sinatra, man, you changed your
I love
name,
that
Tank
song.
Sinatra?
That's,
What?
that's what he said. He's
But
changing
no,
it back. That's
yes,
what he
It was
said.
it was Tank Sinatra the other night. I seen that.
Yeah.
it was
He's
Sinatra.
well, no, I mean
It was.
literally
It
that's
was.
like that's who he's Tank Sinatra, but I think for a while he went under Sinatra. Now I don't know
Yes.
why. He'll probably tell us later, but
But no,
Tank
I
has
love
been
that.
his that's been his
He put profit question mark because when this is my personal page. Okay, I got you. I appreciate you clearing that up. But yeah, profit, when you start talking about investing into your next, like it's facing this have visioned and you're not worried about the profit of it. You know, of course the profitability's got to be there if you're going to run a program, but you're constantly chasing that next dog.
But
You're constantly pouring it back
yeah, the
into it
profit
because you want to.
yeah.
the profit's going back into dogs anyway.
Exactly.
But what I mean by profit, I mean out of the red of all
Yeah.
the money
Yeah.
you've sunk in,
Right. You're
and
not
then you're
upside
at
down.
ground zero, and then you gain some money that you put back into the dogs.
Mhm.
Yes.
But I'm glad
Yeah.
that you came up because I think that's another thing that's so important, man. You know, if you're thinking you're just gonna put these racks in the bank, it happens. It happens. You have your moments, but
Yeah.
a lot of it's going back in the dogs, and that's what I recommend too. You know, invest in what you believe in. It'll grow to a point where you might get out of it what you want, but really, you got to invest in any business that you're in like that. You know,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, one thing that
you're on
you'd
mute,
mentioned,
Trayvon.
bro.
okay.
What
One thing
was
that I wanted to ask about is you'd made a brief mention, kind of grazed right over it when you were talking about your upcoming plans, especially for one of the buildings. You mentioned an area where you'd be making food. Are you already doing that now?
so
What do you
I've
think about?
here's how I feel about food. I really got a lot to say about food. I'm glad you brought it up.
Oh,
Um,
good.
I don't. I think with people before people have an opinion, they should try a few different things. And I had only fed raw to my dogs for the longest time, and then and I had caught myself speaking on kibble and had never even fed it to my dogs. So I was like,
Mhm.
maybe I do need to kind of do some experimenting around and see how bad it is, and how and whether there's brands that can be trusted a little bit, and things like that. And we've tried back and forth a little bit. I do think they both have their benefits. Um, Kibble actually does have some benefits, man. It's not the best thing for the dogs, but it will put some weight on them. That raw is not going to put weight on them like kibble does. You know,
Yeah, if you especially if you have a really heavy exercise routine, because that protein just burns right through, like
uh,
that comes in with the raw, because there's not enough fillers unless you're literally also feeding your dogs a lot of carbs as well, which you can also do.
right. And I just learned something interesting about that. So, just in my own journey, so your body's not able to absorb protein without the fat and the carbs. It needs the fat and the carbs to be able to actually soak in the protein. If you just have the protein without the fat and the carbs, your bodies can't take it in. Uh, and the dogs are the same. So yeah, man. I think here's what I think about raw. You can't just like switching dog foods. Like, oh, I feed wholehearted. Now I want to feed a Nook Shook, and I just go get it, and then I'll over the course of a week, I'll switch the percentages, add in 25% and then for a few days and then go half and half and then 75 and then boom, now we're changed kibble.
Right.
Because you do need to do that. But with raw, you really need to do a little digging, man. Do some research because you've got to worm them a lot more. Really, the way that we learned was to use natural dewormers and worm them with every meal, worm them every day, and you have you have flash off time with that raw meat. When you're prepping meals, you got all that stuff out on the table and you're prepping meals for 6 hours. Well, that if it's chicken and it's
Yeah.
out on the table thawed out for 6 hours, you got a problem on your hands.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
All of a sudden your dog gets sick and you're like, what happened? You're like, well.
and that's the thing. I think and this is just my opinion, and this ain't a shot at anybody that's doing it or anything like that. But it's just my opinion, one man's opinion. Uh, I would be scared to provide raw out of state because it's so tricky.
I'm sure
Um,
statistics are a
there's so
nightmare.
there's so many variables for things going bad, and uh, if I was going to do raw, I would want to be making it myself or getting it local. And if you're going to make it yourself, I highly recommend you get a grinder because it's a lot less work with a grinder than without one.
Yeah.
There's a company called Weston that makes a grinder. If you have to go to their website to get. If you just look up a Weston grinder on Amazon, I found that it won't pull up the one that you actually need. But if you put it in by name of that model, it will pull it up on Amazon, but not without it. So you have to go to the Weston website and look up. They have one that's 1.5 horse, 1.5 horses, and one that's 2 horse, and those two models are stronger than the other ones. And the 1.5, I recommend at least the 1.5, but even the 2 horse will it's warranted to grind up bird bones, so they'll cover it if something goes wrong from grinding up chicken or turkey bones.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal, to be
Yeah.
warranted for the bones. So yeah, you get that where you can grind them bones up, man. I think that makes all the world of difference. Get you a good regimen on some dewormer and figure out what your dogs, make sure your dogs don't have any allergies. Sometimes you have to start real simple, man. Just chicken with rice, chicken with no skin and rice, and kind of expand from there. Uh, and they that we were taught, if you have an allergy issue, that's what you go back. You strip everything down to just the chicken with no skin and rice, and see if you can get by with that. If they're still allergic to that, that means they're allergic to chicken. But a lot of times it's not the chicken, it's the skin because
Hormones,
all
stuff
the
like that.
crap that they put in these birds, it gets stuck in the mesoderm in the
Hmm.
skin, and that's where a lot of that stuff that'll irritate the dogs is in that skin and that fat. Another thing, you need to you can get it's pretty easy to Google this stuff, but you can get on there and look at like the percentages of body weight for the amount of protein you need, the amount of meat you need, and then what percentage of vegetation you want with that, and uh, you know what vegetables are good for the dogs. We learned a lot as we went, man. Like our dogs don't like carrots unless they're like ground up with a cheese grater
Yeah.
or in the grinder. Like if you put chunks of carrot, it'd be the only thing left in the bowl every time.
You shred it.
You shred it and mix it in with the meat, and they'll eat it. And they need that
Yeah.
beta carotene is really good for them. But yeah, man, I think raw is probably the healthiest thing for a dog, but it's also the riskiest to feed if you don't do your research. That's what I think.
Oh, absolutely. And even people that we've had on the show that, they, produce raw food for, and then a lot of them ship it. Molly Foods is one of them. Blue Notes. She had, you remember she discussed like, how she makes it, the variants, the ratios, things like that, how she ships it. But even she was, pretty careful about like, no, this is the what has to be in it, what can't be in it, what you shouldn't mix it with, be careful not to overfeed or underfeed. And I mean, it's definitely, you know, it's definitely a tedious thing that, if it's going to pay off for your dog's better health, I mean, you definitely want to make sure that you are almost fluent in it by the time you even start. So, and there's so many people, I mean, Caleb, I mean, they feed their dogs raw as well. And, so it's one of those things where, find somebody that has a history with it, especially if you're possibly even going to be getting it from the same person that they do. Find out what their routine is and what's worked for them, and kind of add that to your arsenal of knowledge before you even jump in.
My wife just brought up a great point, man. One of the biggest and, to me, most valuable differences between in ARC, like I said, experimenting around. We've tried it all, just trying to, I feel like, what opinion do I have really when you ask me the question about raw versus kibble and things like that if I haven't tried it all? So one of the main differences that we've learned in our journey is the shedding. So when our dogs are on a raw diet, the amount of shedding is minimal, man. It really is. They don't shed. It's probably 10-1. Like, they still shed their dogs. They're not what they call those hyperallergenic dogs or whatever that don't shed. But they still do shed. But like, if my dogs are eating kill, if they get my lap for a second, that there's no roller that's gonna knock that out. I mean, I can't put a lint roller on it. It's over with. I got to go change. But when they were on raw, I didn't notice the hair piling up and so easily. Like, we got to pull our kennels out from the wall almost every day and get hair from behind it. And it's just, we didn't have that with the raw. So that's probably one of the main benefits that I noticed. A lot less shedding with the raw. And the other thing, the gas is a little, it's a little more, it's pretty bad. It's bad. Our dogs are gassy anyway. Kibble or raw, either one, but that raw's got to look different, something different in it. And I will say, another thing is the poop.
Yeah.
As a breeder, you kind of got to keep an eye on your dog's poop.
There we go.
And man, even my 100-pound dog, my cat would leave more behind than he would on that raw. Not much of a pile of poop at all, really. On the raw, very, very little waste left over to poop out. Whereas kibble, like, what goes in comes out, it seems like.
Yeah, they can only take so much out of it, and then the rest of it's just waste. I mean, it's the same thing when people take 1,000% of their daily, vitamin C. It was like, you realize the rest of that's coming out, right? You're not like, you retain exactly what you need, and then
I'll tell you.
So I mean, it's like the same thing with dogs and kibble.
A happy medium, though, for somebody that's trying to dibble in it and want to kind of feed their dogs a little healthier than just some kibble, and worried about taking some of these chances and stuff that we're talking about and not taking those risks. You can use like sweet potato or regular potato, but potatoes have to be cooked. You can't feed a dog raw potatoes. So they love that sweet potatoes. That's one of the best things you can give a dog. So I recommend either sweet potatoes or a mix of regular and sweet potatoes, and cook them. Mix it up with you can use rice. You can just do the potatoes, but you can take a whole chicken. And what we like to do, we'll take a whole chicken and boil it like we're making chicken and dumplings or something, right? And cook that whole chicken on the pot. Put some turmeric, in there with the rice, and then whenever the chicken's done, we use the chicken broth as the water to cook the rice, and so
Good
you're
call.
you're not losing that nutrition from
Yeah.
boiling the chicken. You're using that same fluid to actually cook the rice, and then add a couple things that are real good for the dog, like turmeric is a good one. A little dash of cinnamon's real good for them for blood sugar.
I didn't think about that.
Yes, cinnamon is good to lower the blood sugar.
Huh.
Yeah.
I never knew that. See, again, you teach me something new every time.
Every time.
Turmeric is great for the dogs. It's a great anti-inflammatory. It's really really good for them. And I got to give Raul his flowers, man. Where a lot of my education comes from on this stuff, but he taught me something really cool about raw garlic. So if you take a standard, like if you buy a bag of cloves,
Yeah.
that size clove would be a standard clove, right? Well, if you get a head of raw garlic and a clove that size out of it, a whole clove would go to 100-pound dog. So if it's a 50-pound dog, it'd be a half a clove. If it's a 75-pound dog, it'd be 3/4 of that clove, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you take that clove and you crush it. Now, if you look up, if you can give a dog raw garlic, it'll say that garlic is toxic for dogs, but
Yeah. Because
it is
they're
not.
telling you the same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. There was a study done in Japan, and they gave a dog like 17 whole cloves of garlic, and it made it throw it up or something. It's like, okay,
They're just
all
trying
right.
to season it over
My
there. That's
poor
what that
Yeah,
was.
dog.
yeah, right.
Like they filled it
Yeah.
up. Like
15
They're just trying to
cloves of
season it.
garlic.
It's
let's
fine.
No,
go
I
Turmeric.
until
don't
we
want
get some
anymore.
results.
So if you so the garlic has something in it called allicin, and allicin is toxic for dogs. But when you crush the garlic or slice it up
Yeah.
real fine
Mhm.
and let it sit out in the open air for like 15 minutes, that air goes over the allicin and changes the allicin to allen. It gives it a sex change, right? Straight turns from
2024.
turns from Allison to Allen, right? And then uh once it turns to Allen, then it's an anti-inflammatory, it's a dewormer, it's antifungal, antibacterial. It's
All right. So
magic,
how do you
man.
know? How do you
Yeah.
know when this process takes place? How do you know when
You
Allison is
gotta
out?
let it sit for like 15 minutes,
15
right?
But
minutes.
is there
Yeah,
any
15 minutes.
indication, physical indication? Because should people
No,
really be kind of
no.
experimenting with this, or
Yeah.
should
Yeah,
Message
it's
like
game.
kind
no,
of know what
it
they're doing with
we
this?
tell people 15 minutes, but 10 will do it. We just say 15 because that's plenty of time. But
Yeah.
what I do is when
You
I
have to crush it. It had to be crushed or
yep,
chopped, like you
yep.
said. But I crush it.
But what
That
you
that
do
that
is
open this up so I
you
can
get
release
your
that Allison.
yeah when you start prepping your dog's meal, the very first thing that you do is take that head of
Okay,
clove of garlic and
there we
crush it
go.
up, and then while you're meal prepping and doing all your thing, you let that 15-20 minutes go by,
Mhm.
and then just take that and throw it right in the food. And then there's food grade, it's called diatomaceous earth.
Yep.
And diatomaceous earth, the food grade diatomaceous earth, it's like a fine powdery sand. And under a microscope they say it looks like glass, but
Yeah.
it's really fine like powder. And you put a scoop of that in there, and the two of them together, that's all you need for a dewormer, man. Raul's been giving that to his dogs. That's all he gives them day in and day out.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah,
bag right there. Matter of fact.
Yeah, that's it right
Yeah, let us
there.
see that.
That's
Hey, it's
that
upside down.
diatomaceous. That's that
Oh, it's
diatomaceous
it's
earth right
it's
there.
open on the other side. It's open on the other
Oh
side.
yeah,
I
it's
was trying to
open. It's
figure out
open. What you
I was
doing?
like, turn it around.
where do you buy yours?
You can get that at
I
Tractor
get
Supply.
Tractor Supply.
Tractor
Yeah.
Supply. That's
Yep.
what I figured.
so
Yep.
that
Just
and
make sure it's
garlic
food grade. Yep.
every day is recommended. Ground it
Yep.
up while you're making your dog food. Put it in there.
Yep.
And then I'm sure it's going to give you the scoopage of that. And that is a daily dewormer.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. If you give that to your dogs every day, that's the only dewormer they really need.
Yeah,
They don't need any other
that
dewormer at all.
that diatomaceous earth, it also help with like joints and stuff because it got what's it, silica up in it, and it good. It help with joints and stuff too.
Yeah, it's good for the
Yeah.
dogs, man. And and there's certain things you can give them, certain vegetations and stuff that help push things through. That's what one of the things the carrots does.
Yeah.
That shredded that big chunks of shredded carrot. The carrot doesn't really break down. You'll see it come out the other side. It'll look just like it did going in, and it helps kind of clean out the digestive tract and things like that. Yeah, Adam said just keep the dust out of their nose. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Good info.
that's the first thing I do is put that together for the dewormer, let it sit. By the time I get through prepping and everything, if it's still been, not enough time, I'll give it a few minutes. I put that on top and mix it right in the food. They love it. They love it. They don't have no problems with the garlic at all. And
Yeah.
Google might tell you something different, but I know Raul has done it for almost a decade now. And I've done it in my house for 2 years, and that's it. And I haven't had any problems with parasites whatsoever.
Love it. Love the info, man.
Yeah.
I love this info being put right now.
Yeah, it's been
All right,
really
so Michael,
great.
when you get to a certain amount of dogs, like kibble, like obviously is a cheaper option than raw.
Yeah.
Is there a time that you transition where you're half and half, or if a kibble that you recommend, what kibble and why?
Yeah, yeah, there is, man. I honestly I understand how somebody's got 10 dogs, or more, even 8 dogs, 6 dogs. I mean, the raw is a lot of work to prep, and it's expensive. But what's funny is, if my wife, she'll argue this with you, but if you crunch the numbers, if you're feeding a high end kibble, man, you're talking about like 40 cents to $1 more a meal
Yeah.
to feed raw. It's it's like I think it was 40 cents more, like 40 cents to $1 more a meal. So it's an extra, 30 to $50 a month,
Yeah.
depending on how many dogs you have.
Yeah.
But for us, I think it was like $3 a meal for us one way, and $2.40 a meal the other way. So,
All right, so no matter
but
how big y'all get with your research, with the kibble research, things like that y'all have done, y'all plan on staying completely raw.
there's a lot of people that believe in feeding kibble in the wintertime, or some people, rotate back and forth. Raul's rotated back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right now, we've been on kibble for a few months, and we found some kibbles that we really like. And everything seems to be going okay with that. I do think the raw is the better option for the dogs if you can afford it. There is a happy medium. Some people take a few organ meats. You can get any excreting organ meat. I don't recommend the livers, beef or chicken livers, because with the mass production of the chickens and all that, the liver is what cleans the blood, and
Yeah.
so
So it's probably gonna trade
all
with
the
other stuff.
crap that these chickens and cattle take in is
It's not
stuck in the
stored in the
liver.
liver.
And
So when
good
you
info.
buy a pack of chicken livers, it's got all those toxins and stuff in it that the chicken is trying to get rid of.
So what excreting organs would you recommend?
Um, you can get hearts, you can get gizzards, you can get they got lungs and kidneys. Um, all that stuff is good for the dogs. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I like to use the gizzards myself.
Yeah.
It's not an excreting organ, but it's got a lot of the good stuff in it.
Which is crazy.
Um,
if you know what the birds use their gizzards for, you're sitting there thinking like people eat that, and you're like, like, oh God, you know what the bird uses that
They
for,
say
right?
they say the chicken feet are good for the dogs, but I didn't like my dogs eating chicken feet. I didn't personally.
I
Um,
never fed my dog's chicken feet. I still,
yeah,
and I
Hector
don't know if
said
it's that I
kidney,
just can't get
spleen,
past it.
Yeah, they're so
heart,
weird to give
lungs,
them.
brain.
They love them though.
Yeah, they do. They really do love them. And I'm sitting here front like I didn't get my dogs chicken feet. They love them. I'll tell you what though, man. Yeah, I'd say any organ is an excreting organ, and any organ that's not the liver, I think would be safe. And a liver would be great for them if you had your own farm and you were acquiring it from a butcher or something like that. But if you're getting it from like Walmart or something like that, I would say that those livers wouldn't be safe for the dogs. It'd
Yeah.
probably be all right, but it's not recommended because that's where a lot of the stuff that the chicken's fighting through with all the different stuff they pump into those birds is in the liver.
Yeah,
And a lot of that you'll have allergic reactions from that too, just like you would with the skin.
that
Yeah.
would make sense. That would make sense.
But yeah, you could Caleb, you could do something with rice and potatoes and some cooked chicken, and you can do bone broth, um, and things. You add little spice to your kibble and things like that. Some people do a little mixture. Take a cup of kibble and a cup of rice and a half of a potato and then like a chicken thigh or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Mix it
And
up. What kibble did you like?
so I've been through a bunch of kibbles trying to find ones that I like, and that people probably think I'm crazy down here at the store because I've had them all off the shelf, and I'm in there sweating, and I got stuff all over the floor, and I'm flipping bags over and reading labels and everything, and they're like, "Can we help you, sir?" I'm like, "No, I don't think you can." Like,
Leave me alone.
yeah,
Ron, it's like, no, I don't think you can.
yeah. Hey, I've drug a couple of them into it with me, and they're just like, "Oh my God, like he's
I
on
had
one
no
with it."
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
So,
you made them their job, I think, if they're going to sit there and, absorb, you teaching them what dog foods, like what certain things mean on the bag versus what, they're trying to imply it means. And, it's good that you taught them that because now they can, if a, customer does need their help.
it is. The ones that I would recommend the most are probably the ones I think the most of are probably not applicable for people with larger programs like yourself, Caleb. But Origin is probably got the best kibble as far as ingredients, and it's got a good moisture content. Great ingredients, man. They got a lot of good meats in them and stuff like that. It's $90 a bag. You know,
For a
uh,
30-pound bag, $90.
yeah, it's like 35-pound bag. I don't think it's even 40 pounds, and
Yeah.
it's like $90. But they have a few flavors now, and some of like the beef. They have chicken and barley, beef and barley,
Yeah.
turkey and barley. That's made by. Okay, so Origin is best kibble on the market, if you ask me. Like spare no expense, best kibble on the market, Origin. Behind that, there's a company that's a subsidiary of Origin called Acana, and
Yeah.
they're made, but it's the same made by the same people, but it's a little bit of a cheaper line. Still not the
Still
cheapest.
not easy. No, it's still not easy to
Yeah,
afford. It's
Cheaper
easy
than,
to
still
cheaper
afford an
than
origin,
it's
Oregon,
but
but not
cheaper
barely,
than
cheap.
Origin, but
barely.
still kind of expensive pound for
Yeah,
pound.
yeah. We used to.
And that Acana is really good, and they have some. We were looking at but what I'm using right now is available at Tractor Supply. I think they have it. You can definitely order on Amazon, but it's called Earthborn.
I saw those. Yeah,
Earth
I saw
Earth
that story.
Earthborn, and the particular line that I like a lot. They have an ancient grains and superfood line, and I think they have three or four flavors that have the ancient grains and superfoods, and one of them is rabbit, and It's the only one. It's straight rabbit. It's not rabbit meal. It's rabbit.
Yeah, it's rabbit. Yeah.
And I really like that one. It's in the pink bag. Right now I'm using the lamb,
Oh,
ancient grains and superfood with the lamb. And it's lamb meal, but the dogs really like that lamb. They do. There's another one that's got fish in it. I think it's white fish.
mhm.
And got a few fishes in it. That's really good, made by Earthborn. And I think they have a bison. Well, here's the thing about Earthborn. They have 4 or 5 that are grain free,
Yeah.
but then they have that ancient grains and superfoods that does have the grain, and I really like those. Um,
What's
but
the,
I was comparing the Earthborn to the Cana, which is the
mhm.
cheaper origin in price and weight. And the bag that I got of the Earthborn was 22 and a half pounds. No, I'm sorry, it was 25 pounds, and the Acana was 22 and a half pounds, and the price was like, within $5 or $7. So a little bit more expensive, but that Acana, it's a lot better quality food than just about anything else. As far as the
Yeah.
cheaper ones, man, if you want to go all the way to the bottom, you can't hate on Sports Mix, man. For the bang for the buck, that 2024 Sports Mix is a pretty safe. Uh, I don't want to say bottom of the barrel, but it is. It's about the cheapest thing you can get that's safe to feed your dog, in my opinion. Probably that Sports Mix.
Yeah, I think what we use is the Wholesomes.
Yeah, that wholesome at Track Supply is it's really good.
Yeah, that's kind of our baseline. That like
Yeah,
we're like that's like we'll go up from there, never down. Like those are our
Wholesome's is
baseline.
great.
Yeah.
That wholehearted that they have is a pretty good food too.
Mhm.
Another thing I'll say that I've learned the difference in dogs that are outside in a kennel and dogs that are in the house. So like any of the high protein kibbles, my dogs cannot handle it. My house dogs, and it don't matter if I take them out and spend time with them with the flirt pole and all that. That doesn't make a difference. Yeah, I can take them out and run them wild every day, and the high protein, whether it's a Nook Shook or any of these some of these high energy high protein kibbles, it gives them diarrhea. On my yard.
Yeah.
So I don't mind a high fat content, but I don't need that protein to be real high. I don't.
Yeah, and like you said, everyone's kibble is going to be different.
Yeah.
Everyone in the
Yeah.
comments is saying something different. Pay attention to your
Mhm.
dogs. Like you said, the stool.
Yeah.
What are they intaking? What are they digesting? How is it coming out? You want a solid stool and very
Right.
little of it because the body's intaking all that protein that's whatever kibble, whatever raw it's intaking. Pay
Yeah.
attention to your dogs. Pay attention to the stool. Like, don't just pick it up. If it's diarrhea, there's a problem. Your
Yeah.
dog having
Mhm.
a reaction to whatever you're feeding it. So just
Yeah.
pay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't
Bruce, your
Yeah.
don't be
dogs will
so
tell you
quick
exactly.
to I'll tell you another thing. Don't be so quick to say like, oh, that didn't work on my yard, because you need to gradually change. Like if I'm gonna change kibbles, I usually do it over the course of like 10 days to 2 weeks. Well, I'll get like if I'm like, all right, I'm gonna rotate to another kind and try another kind or something like that. I'll
Yeah.
buy another bag of the kind I've been using, and over the course of that bag, I'll
Yeah,
start shifting the ratio in the direction of the new
absolutely.
kibble.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
put like just
A
a
gradual
quarter of it.
change.
Yeah,
Slowly
uh,
introducing them to something new.
over
Yeah, and
Yes.
I
the
would throw a
course
little
of
bit of pumpkin, like actual pureed pumpkin, in with that as well.
pumpkin
Um,
is so good for a dog's digestion, man.
it's like a
It
reset. Like
is.
other than fasting, fasting is a good reset. But pumpkin, yeah. Whenever I've noticed that they're having a little bit of difficulty, with the runs or anything like that, first thing I try is pumpkin, and like usually I'd say about 90% of the time they're back to normal.
You know
It's
what? I'm glad you brought up fasting. I think that, and I ain't scared to do it. Look, I think that's something a lot of people don't want to talk about, but I ain't afraid to talk about it. Y'all already know how I roll. Look, I fast my dogs one time a week, probably twice a month at least.
Yeah.
I
All right. So
I
what does
give
that
them.
do? What does fasting do?
So it's just like us, man. It allows the body to finish digesting and get rid of all the stuff that's in the system and cleanse that system out and give it time. So what fasting does for us and dogs, and once your body's got everything out of your digestion tract, then it can say like, because it's constantly working to break down food, constantly
Yeah.
working to you're steadily eating and it's steadily working. Well, when it gets all that done, it doesn't have to do any of that work, and it can tend to more of the chemical balance. It can tend to like the healing of scar tissue, of anything that may be wrong with the body, with the immune system, anything. It can start digging back into giving the body more of what it needs and focusing on that instead of being so distracted with digestion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
so,
actually healing the body.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
recommended for
Yeah,
humans too, correct?
it
Same
is.
thing.
yes,
All right. So
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
who here fasts once a week?
I do.
I ain't gonna
Do
say I
you?
fast one a week, but I every so often I do
I
fast. I ain't gonna say it
I
once a week now.
Look, me and
Yeah.
Adam,
I'm
Adam, I
intermittent.
wasn't gonna put you out there. So, me and Adam both. So when I fast my dogs, I fast with them.
Yeah. I like that. I
Yeah,
respect that. A lot
Yeah.
of
That
people are saying that they'll
okay.
sit there and say that they want to fast their dogs. I'm just like, if you fast, if you're
yeah,
doing it for the same thing, like Sinatra's saying, because the digestive system and everything, human body and dogs, the same sort of thing.
yeah,
So if you're doing
yeah,
it with them, I have no
yeah,
problem with that. If you're
yeah,
sitting there
Yeah.
eating and you're sitting there and that's,
Got
come
the
on
dog
now. I
drooling.
think we should really rethink
But I
that.
fast them. I have gone once a week
From my
before, but
dog.
I usually only do it maybe a couple times a month, man. But
Yeah.
it's good to give a good
Oh,
24-hour
I
fast for the
completely
dogs.
understand the benefits of it, and I completely agree with it. But I'm just saying, a
Mhm.
lot of people like overeat themselves, but then they sit there and say, "I'm going to fast my dogs for like." No, you should be doing it with them as well. You should understand
Right.
exactly what your dogs are going through and things like
Right.
Yeah.
that, because it's in our
What the,
control to make sure they're fed and done correctly. We're
I
caging
agree.
them. We're that's a family member. It's an animal, but we're becoming a family member. Like, so we should be doing that with them as long as we're sitting there saying that we're going to do that.
Pretty
I
much
agree.
oh, yeah.
I,
practicing what you preach, pretty
yeah.
much.
Oh, I agree.
Exactly. That's my
I
Well,
personal. That's
yeah. Their behavior changes too when you're fasting them. Like so for that 24 up to 48 hours, um, they have a tendency to act a lot different. So like if you're, luckily, you guys have a very family setting, so it's like everybody kind of, everybody is exposed to the dogs while they're being fasted. So obviously that's a little bit more familiar. With me, I literally have to tell Matt on the days that I'm fasting them,
yeah.
so that
yeah.
he knows what
Yeah,
to
because
look for.
natural
Because
reactions
otherwise,
want
I'll
to
get a
give them
phone
love
call, be like, why is the dog doing this? I'm like, I fasted him, so instead I just pick the days that I fast them, and I make sure that he knows in advance so he doesn't panic.
Whenever I'm doing it, like say if I do it one day a week, uh, when I'm doing it every week, one day a week like that, um, I've noticed. Did I cut out?
Only for a
No.
split
Oh,
second. I don't
Mm-mm.
believe we missed
I
anything.
was saying, when if I'm fasting them every week, one day a week, I notice when I do it like that, the benefit of doing it that consistently is is the temperament. They sniff around and look around for me like, hey, it's dinner time, and then I'm like, nope, it's Monday, it's Monday. We fast on Mondays, it's that. But after the repetition of every week,
Yeah, a
like
routine.
they don't care, man.
Yeah,
It don't bother them a bit to fast. They don't stalk the
yeah,
kitchen.
yeah. If they get fed,
It's weird.
awesome. It's a great day. If they don't, they're like, oh, it must be
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they don't if you don't fast your dogs regularly though, they'll get a little mischievous. Like you can't get them to leave it well enough alone during dinner time because they're like, hey, they're trying to get your attention and trying to get you to feed them.
Yeah.
But when I do, fast them regularly, I don't have that problem.
Yeah. No,
And I think it is good for the dogs.
My dog will go outside and start eating acorns.
Wow.
And I'm just like, son. Like,
Hey,
so
Mike, we got a
another
good,
reason I have to make, hmm?
oh, I'm sorry. We got a good
Go
question
ahead.
here. Like Justin actually asked, do you fast your puppies, or how old do you start? You know, the fasting
No,
process.
I haven't fasted my puppies. I'd recommend, you know, and I'll tell you another thing I recommend. I feed my puppies twice a day versus an adult dog.
Up until what age?
Um, well, technically, man, they're still a puppy until like 18 to 20 months.
Hmm.
That's when the bone plates
Yeah.
seal. And I think they need all the food they can get up until then. Body's still growing. You know, I'll tell you, it's a real weird thing. If you've ever seen an X-ray of a dog's legs before their bone plates seal, so it'll scare you, man. You'll realize, like,
Yeah.
oh man, I need to keep my dogs a little lighter. I need to be careful with letting them jump off of stuff because they literally don't have joints.
Mm-hmm.
They
Never
have
did.
they
Yeah.
have muscles and ligaments between bones.
Yeah.
There is no
Right.
joint. It's just space.
Yeah,
Yep.
And, and
nothing really got it
You
sealed together yet.
put too
there's no
much
joint.
protein on your
Nope.
dog, easily.
Oof.
Yes.
Yeah. And people don't realize, man, you know, they're like, oh man, his dad and his grandpa both 150 pounds, and they start packing all this weight on the dog. Now some dogs are just big, man. You can't hardly keep
Yeah.
the weight off of them. But you don't want to add too much extra weight, man, and it's really hard on that soft tissue. And another thing with the high amounts of protein too, because our dogs put on muscle faster than they grow soft tissue, especially before those bone plates seal, and
Hmm.
so your muscle will outgrow the process of the joints
Yeah,
getting solidified there, and that's a dangerous thing for their longevity, for
yeah,
their quality of life in the later years and things
yeah.
like that.
You can also create flaws that wasn't there
Yeah.
before by doing stuff
Yes.
like that.
There's so many
Yeah.
flaws that environmental.
There
Yeah,
are environmental flaws, man,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely. And then you've got to worry about, like, when you're feeding too much, protein as a pup. I mean, rickets is a real thing, man. They start knuckling, and you've got
Man.
to take measures past that point. Like, okay, more calcium, more this, more
Yeah.
There
glucosamine,
you go.
raise the dish. And it's just, yeah, you got to end up backtracking, which sucks. So it's, yeah, just be very mindful that what you're feeding, your puppies, what you're not allowing them to do is super important. you know,
Oh,
um,
while it's on my mind, I wanted to add to what I said earlier, just to make sure I don't want to confuse anybody. So, the diatomaceous earth and the raw garlic done properly is a great dewormer, and it is an everyday, and it will cover the parasites, but that does not cover heartworms.
Gotcha.
So
I,
you still
I
need a
appreciate you.
heartworm.
Yeah.
You need a heartworm preventative.
Gotcha.
We use Simpatico Trio on our dogs. It covers the heartworms, fleas, and ticks, and that's that one-stop shop for us, man. That's what we use, and it's never gave any problems. And I will say this, man. There is a certain type of hookworm that goes to the intestines, and I'm not going to put any names of any companies on blast, but I will say some of the better dewormers that I've seen almost everybody we know use um, don't kill that type of hookworm.
Mm.
Yep. And so even these store-bought dewormers, look at Amazon, you look at dewormers and get some of the stuff. There's a type of hookworm that I don't know if every state has a problem with that hookworm, but I actually learned it from my pops. He's been breeding bird dogs in Arkansas for 61 years, and they've had an active kennel for 61 or 62 years, man. And there's no bird dogs of that line on the planet that's not connected to their kennel. That's how long they've been doing it.
Jeez
And
Louise.
yeah, and he was telling me that to cover that one type of hookworm. He uses Safeguard, which is actually for goats. But it's in a yellow. It's got a yellow label with green writing on it. Safeguard. You can get it on Amazon. It is a little expensive, but nothing can live through that as far as parasites go. There some of the stuff that liquid. What's it start with a P, Caleb?
Rod.
Permethrin? No,
Promate,
not
yeah,
permethrin.
promate, yeah,
Palmate.
Pomade. That's the one I'm trying to think of.
yeah.
That there's a type of hookworm that it's good stuff, but that pomade stuff is got there's a type of hookworm that can survive that
Oh,
that particular one, and so and I didn't know that. That's what he was telling me, that they use Safeguard for that, and it does.
yeah,
Hector said
parental
Safeguard is all
fumigation.
use Tractor Supply. Yep. Yeah, you can order it on Amazon. You get it at Tractor Supply, but that Safeguard, man, it is a catch-all for parasites. It will kill it all. So I would recommend maybe once a year, twice a year, doing that
Yeah.
Safeguard, no matter what kind of worming system you're using. Even if you're doing the garlic and diatomaceous earth, I would say every 6 months I'd use that Safeguard just to make sure
Just that
uh,
little plus.
that
Yeah.
Just a little extra.
that little extra precautionary measure,
Yeah.
and go ahead and do that. But that's definitely the brand to use on that stuff, man. Yeah, back to the kibble. We want to have the options to feed both here, and there may be a kibble that really catches our eye one day that we like a lot better than, and it depends on how much we're showing that year. If I'm showing, I'm not taking raw on the road. I'm not. I'm not doing all that
Yeah.
and carrying ice packs, and this is too much. So if we're going to 10 shows that year, we probably won't be feeding raw during the show season. So it just kind of depends, a few variables there. And if I have dogs like you do, Caleb, like I would spice up my kibble, but I would be feeding kibble.
Yeah.
I'd spice it up a little bit, little bone broth, maybe, little protein, little potatoes, little pumpkin, some fresh herbs and stuff. Peppermint is good for a dog's stomach if their stomach's bothering them.
I've read that.
Yeah, peppermint's real good for you can get fresh ground peppermint is good for them. Pumpkin's good for their digestion. Turmeric's good as an anti-inflammatory. I think turmeric is antifungal too, isn't it, Trevon? I know it's an anti-inflammatory. I know that for sure.
I'm not sure. Adam put that in.
I know,
Type that in the
Adam.
comment.
When in doubt, Adam.
Trayvon said, "Let me phone a friend."
Yeah, I don't wanna mislead nobody.
I know turmeric is a good anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. For people and dogs.
With the turmeric, a little dash of black pepper help activate it too.
Mm.
Just a little dash here, not a whole lot, just a little, a sprinkle.
There you go. My boy's back. My boy.
There's Chris. My wife said we learned the hard way. We learned the hard way to be flexible when life shows up and have both as options. Yeah, for sure, man. But it's and hey, if you're scared of the raw and you don't want to feed your dog raw meat and stuff like that, just sear it a little bit, bring it up to temperature in the skillet, man. Don't overcook it, but yeah, you can start there. And well, I tell you, there's nothing quite like giving your dog chicken bones. That's an interesting experience. My dogs will eat raw chicken bones like corn nuts, and it's something to watch. It's like, oh wow, yeah, he's just eating right through those bones. Like it's just like sound like he's chewing on corn nuts.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. By the way, turmeric does have antifungal properties. Is what I just read.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it did. I'm glad you checked on that. I wanted to be sure, but I know it's anti-inflammatory, and I thought antifungal. But yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is a really good one, and you can be pretty generous with that turmeric too. You don't have to be skittish with it. It won't hurt them, but you do have to kind of be skittish with the cinnamon. Just a little old dash of that. You don't want to put a whole lot of that in there. We have a place called Righteous Remedies that is an herbalist store in a town close to us here, and we actually go get all our herbs ground fresh for the dogs, and we have
I'm
like an
sick.
herb. We have an herb cabinet that has like 15, 20 different herbs for different things. We have labels on it that shows like this is for it's a stomach ache. This is for, different
Yeah,
things. And so we did our research and labeled these bags, and we have like, I don't know, it's kind of like an herbal medicine kit for the dogs.
yeah,
So
that
if
that
we have
that,
little
that
issues and
organic
stuff.
medication.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And that was something we really enjoyed doing, man, getting into that. My wife, she went berserk with with all that, man. Really, really did that research.
That's it. No, that's awesome though. I mean,
Yeah, she
to
did.
have, I mean, I've actually seen people have that conversation of like, when you have a partner in this, like, how involved do you want them to feel or be? And, some people were just like, no, I'd rather do it all myself or whatever. And then, I'm sitting there thinking like, no, man, I think that is amazing when, your
yeah,
significant other, like certain aspects of taking care of these dogs, that's their
It
calling, like that they
is.
own it and they just take it, and then you have other aspects that you focus on, and so like literally you're encompassing all the dog's needs, but by way of multiple people, and it's just I think that's just so
It,
cool. So
it is.
hell yeah for
Yeah.
her doing that. I
It
love
is.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Hell
I
yeah.
came home one day and she's like, "All right, baby, I may have kind of tweaked on this a little bit, but check out what I got." And I'm like, "Man, I went in there and she's got it all labeled and all these different herbs. There's probably 20 different herbs in there with labels on it and stuff, and it said like beside it like what it does for the dog and how what the dosage is and all that." I was like,
yeah.
"Whoa,
She
man,
she she
this
be on
is
top of
good." Yeah.
that.
You're
Yeah.
lucky man.
She did her things. Tank Sinatra said, yeah, all those herbs do the same things for us that it does for dogs. Yep,
Yeah. Hey,
and it
real quick,
does too, man.
Michael, too. I want to share this, man. Hey, so Justin, Dancing Hawk, he actually reached out to me today and said that we should talk actually about feeding.
Yeah,
So he actually asked a question tonight about this,
About what?
about feeding.
feeding,
About
like what
feeding,
you feed.
feeding the dogs, the raw, the kibble, things like that. And so for you to be on tonight was absolutely perfect. And this is exactly why we do this. But I just really wanted to hit on this because you were the perfect host guest tonight that really hit on a subject that was being asked upon. So man, you're doing such an amazing job, man. I just wanted to take the time to really tell you that.
Oh well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Oh,
Dude, I think like you said it best, man. You need to pay attention to your dogs, pay attention to your program. Everything is different everywhere, every state, every program. These dogs come from different pedigrees, different things. Some dogs are sensitive to certain stuff. You can't say like what works for you might not work for me.
Yeah.
yeah.
uh, but I will say, like somebody else might be thinking like, oh, I feed my dogs real high protein food and they love it. No, but like high protein kibble will put every dog in my yard. Like I'll come home to a mess.
Yeah.
Uh, that just hurts their tummies. They don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
but
We can't do too much protein in our house
Especially if
either.
you're
We've got to be
not
pretty
working them
strategic with
enough,
it.
you got to work them
Oh,
enough to really get that fat and
100%.
protein really working to get the
you really
benefits from it
do.
too.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You really, really
Yes.
do.
Overwork their kidneys.
So you
Mm-mm.
can't just put this
If
dog
you
food on them
if
high
you
protein
ain't
and
if
put
they
them in a
ain't
kennel and sit there and say, "Hey, I want you to
yeah
gain weight." It's not going to be the correct way, and they're going to
yeah
digest a lot of it.
My
yeah
wife said something
they
to
ain't
Amanda.
they ain't burning enough for us, so it just finna shoot back on up.
Oh,
Exactly.
what did my wife say, Amanda?
She just wanted to let me know that she'd sent me uh, the sauce
Yeah.
about the herb.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
I got it.
Oh yeah. She's got the full herbal list and the breakdown, so you got the sauce
I
now.
got At the
Yes. Hey,
sauce, baby. I
hey,
appreciate
real
it.
quick, Mama is the heart of this program. Creek Bank Kennel, Christina Higgason is the heart. Michael, I love you like a brother, man. But
Yeah.
Mama keeps that program running.
You know,
Lord,
Yes.
shout out to
she,
Mama.
Yep.
yeah, hey,
Shout
mama's
out
the
to
truth.
mama.
And here's the thing about mama. I don't never stop, man. I just go. And every now and then mama's got to grab me by the back of the shirt and say, hold
Every
up now.
day,
Yeah.
every day she's got to get in time.
Hey man, I'm just
Look,
I'm
Michael
built
Michael
stuff,
just be
man.
going,
I
then she
just
like,
be
wait,
going
wait,
Yes.
stuff,
wait,
man.
Michael, come on now.
Say,
Y'all
Bringing
hold
it
balance,
in,
up.
so bringing it in.
y'all balance each other so well, though, man.
So
First
well.
moment we met you, like, man, with y'all's daughter there and how she gravitated towards these dogs with your love of it and getting that phone call from you when you left that show in Arkansas and meeting you at a show. Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm so glad our paths crossed. I love your program. Everyone that's viewing in, Creek Bank Kennels out of Arkansas, follow him. Michael Higgason, Christina Higgason, their program is really on the verge of something very, very special in their building. And I can't wait to see the end result because, man, you're a headstrong person and y'all are gonna do it.
Yeah.
Y'all are
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm not getting off the gas. And it's been hard for me, this season of it right here where I'm at because some of the biggest things that you build, you can't see the motion for a minute because the foundation requires so much, and having to kind of I haven't pulled back on the reins at all, but it feels like it from the outside looking in because I've kind of had to let some things grow and let some things happen, and just it's been quite a process, man. But I'm excited. I love it. Love what we got coming up. Trevon was asking me the other day about upcoming breedings and stuff that I've got going on. I tell you, I think people gotta be brave enough to be objective about their programs, and remember that nobody's got perfect dogs. So you got to look at what you got and what you don't got. Uh, Try to figure out what you need to bring in, man. We've got some good things going for us. One thing I want to lock and I love the different classes, man. But I'm an XL guy, and I think one of the things that is phasing out of the XL world, as we go forward is the medium muzzle. You know, we're getting into where that shorter muzzle is a little more pertinent in the XL world, and it's getting more and more pertinent as we go. That's something we definitely want to lock in here at Creek Bank, man. We want that good 2 finger short muzzle, man. And I do think there are some medium muzzles where the dog's head grows into the muzzle in the XL class. Top Gun is a good example of that. He's he doesn't have the shortest muzzle, but he's got the right amount of head where it looks really proportionate. It looks really well. Genesis is the same way. Um, you know, not a 2 finger muzzle, but a nice short muzzle, and
Oh yeah, when in contrast to the
to the head.
size of his
Right.
head,
Right.
man,
Yeah.
he's got a nugget.
Same thing with Bruce's Archangel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beautiful proportions on that dog. Such a massive bull, and got a big old head on him. And I think a really short muzzle on some of those bigger dogs, it doesn't look that great. So you got a balance there, but I think short muzzle is important. I think bone is important as the XL class moves forward. I think we got to have this high level of bone, man. I think that's what the smaller classes have that we don't,
yeah,
and that's from the massive gene pool that we have in comparison. We've got the mastiff mixed in, and they do not. More bull. They got more bulldog, and we got some mastiff in there, and that mastiff is a lankier dog,
yeah. You got to combat it.
and
Yes.
it and
Don't be afraid to go to the standard class to pull back the breed.
man, you talking the truth now. You got to, man.
Yeah.
especially for us, I think, and it's my night, so I'm going to say, my thing with genetics and stuff. This is where I think it carries its weight, man. Because when you're talking about, a larger body type in if you're reading the genetic traits of your dog and your embark, and you're looking at your IGF-1, that is your body type, right? And the the NN body type. It needs to go out. The NN body type is something that really comes from the Mastiff line. So a lot of that size comes from there. But go on, buddy. My wife said my dog needs out. Go on. But pressure. I guess she farted for the last time in that bedroom. She's ready for him to go out.
At that point,
You
it's getting
gotta
a little,
look.
Yeah.
too
So
risky.
Yeah.
let me turn on the porch light right here.
And that next one
Uh,
might be more than juicy. Woo-hoo.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But look, my Great Pyrenees is out here on the porch just holding it down, man.
I keep forgetting that you also have these other. Oh, I just want to run my hands through that floof. Oh,
He's
love
just a
the
big
Pyrenees.
marshmallow fan.
I love the
Um,
Pyrenees. I love them.
so you can take that NN and the IGF-1, and what that basically means is you can breed a smaller dog to that NN female, and bring, like, say if I were to find a standard male that had the muzzle, had the head, had the bone, I could put that dog into an NN female, and even though the male is a standard or maybe even a pocket, you can bring up that
There we go.
those traits in that breed type, and the
Marker.
NN is the tool to do it. Uh, I would definitely think that's where the education and genetics, I think, are going to come into play. Some of that stuff is, it's a flashlight in the dark, man, as I've always said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think bone is going to be the hardest thing to bring to the XLs. Just that, uh, like, for example, like Hellboy. When you're dealing with a dog that has bone like Hellboy's got, it's hard to get that amount of bone in the XL class, and we ain't seen it yet.
Corrupt. Brought it to the XL.
What is it?
Corrupt.
Corrupt is pretty massive,
Oh
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Buff the stuff was a big boy, big bone XL. And I have a Buff the Stuff daughter. So it is there, but I think as a whole, that's where the XL
It's more
class is lacking.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It is
absolutely.
more rare. It's something
Yeah,
that
it's
isn't
very,
as
very,
widespread
very
as it
rare.
ought to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Yep. And so we've got some good structure. One thing we take pride of that we have here, we've got great rear ends on our dogs
Yeah.
here. The whole rear mechanics, rear assembly, rear end, we got nice butts over here. So
That
uh,
ass thing.
proud of that, man. I know what I've learned along the way is that rear is about the hardest thing to incorporate if you don't have it. It's the hardest thing to bring in.
Tis. Yeah, and a bad rear is really it's difficult to reverse engineer. It's
It is.
There's not
Yeah, it's
enough
gonna
in the
take.
pool that can really correct it.
Yeah.
Yep.
right.
Yeah, that's it, man. Um, but I'm excited, man, about 2025 for the bully community. I think a lot of the people that I deal with, all y'all included, I think a lot of y'all, all of us, we have got a bright year coming up ahead of us. I'm stoked, man. I never dreamed, man, we'd have this circle of folks like we do, and talk these dogs like we do. It's a great thing, man. I love it.
Oh, me too.
All these
Oh
people in the
yeah.
comments, all these people getting on here tonight, man. It's just really inspiring how many people care about all this stuff, and care about the dogs, and learning what they don't know, and being humble, and
All right.
I'll tell you, man. Caleb's kicked my butt in the ring. I ain't scared to say it, huh?
Mine too. It's okay.
Hey, but I had the time of my life
Yeah.
with both these gentlemen right here, and
Mhm.
getting in the ring, all of us just toughing it out, man. Narrowing it down and pulling each other up and teaching each other like
Yeah.
little tricks, and it's fun, man. This is if somebody's looking for an honest craft to dig their life into, something that
There
uh,
we go.
I think their dogs are a safe space.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I some of the hands down coolest people I've met. I've met because of these
Yeah.
dogs. Y'all
I would, I
included,
wouldn't, I wouldn't know,
especially, and
I wouldn't know any of you guys if it wasn't for
right.
y'all.
And I
I don't
feel like
know
we're better
no,
for it.
no other way I would have ran into
Yeah.
y'all besides these dogs.
Right.
This whole
Yeah, I
man,
guess
this
we're all
whole
better for it.
Peepaw,
class.
come on.
Yes, this
Yeah.
whole cast, this entire cast was because of one general interest.
One
And we
general
always
interest.
keep it about that. And that's what I love
Yes.
about this cast.
Yeah, we've talked about it before on here, but we've got quite the full spectrum of experience and personality and all of it. I really enjoy you guys, man. All of you. We've got
Yeah,
a good little group, man.
and Michael,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
picking Trevon real quick, because Trevon has been a brother to you from day one. So Michael handpicked Trevon Mobley Sr. now to be the co-host, which Trevon Mobley Sr. so graciously, man,
He's over
stepped
here,
up to
Mama.
the plate and because
Yeah.
Bruce had to work tonight. So Trevon stepped up because this is our 2-year anniversary.
Mhm.
We are each broadcasting each other. Michael is week 2. And Trevon stepped up to the plate, and that's awesome because Michael picked Trevon to do that. So Trevon, I didn't want to go tonight without, man, broadcasting how you've been a supporter, and tonight
Come on.
you stepping up to the plate. Like, thank you for that. And Michael, incredible live, man.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Love
brother.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me, man. Thank y'all for
Oh,
having me.
Pleasure's
man.
definitely on our side of the table. Really,
Yeah.
truly. Like, we
Come on.
asked Michael, be like, hey, pick somebody. I hadn't even finished, and he's just like, all right, got it. It's him.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
was
because
like,
I
perfect.
think I,
I mean,
I
we couldn't have
think
been more excited. We're
when
like, heck yeah, that's perfect.
yeah, I think when you Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when you text him that message, we was already on the phone, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come on the show?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, I was actually.
She
Yeah,
said
that's
it
a true
quick, too,
story.
and I was like, yes, I love
No,
this.
yeah,
Wonderful.
no cap. I was actually talking to Trayvon on the phone, and Amanda messaged me about like Bruce is not gonna be able to be there. Who do you want? And I was like, well, I'm on the phone with Trayvon right now, so.
And then I remember telling and then of course I get on with Caleb and Bruce, and I'm just like, hey, so it's gonna be Trevon, and he's just, and both of them were like, perfect, oh my god, that's gonna be great, they're so excited. So I mean, this was just we couldn't have done this better, couldn't have planned it better. So we really appreciate you being able to come on with us and really get to know Michael a little bit better and just let him shine. So thank you
I
for
appreciate y'all.
being willing to do that at such late notice.
I don't
Oh yeah,
know
no
if we're
problem.
rounding up or we're not, but I do want to say, man, y'all keep an eye on us, man. We got a couple things going on this year we're going to be real proud of. I don't want to spill the beans, but on top of this coming year, building our facility, getting all that going, we've got a few collaborations, man, and a few things we're going to do. Going to get back in the show and some new material there to toss around, and got some. So Freya, I think it's funny how God works, man. The timing of things, the way it happens, but you know, I'm not going to be able to breed her on her third heat because of timing, but also because she's going to be younger than 18 months by her third heat. And so the way this is just how I do it, right? I believe that we should wait to the third heat on a dog unless the female is younger than 18 months at her
Right.
third heat. If she has her third heat before 18 months, then it should be the fourth
Yeah,
heat.
absolutely. And maturity level, especially too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maturity.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you can wait until the fourth heat's not such a bad thing
Yeah.
for any female, really.
I mean, it
But
give up the body more time to mature, the dog mentally the more time to mature. I mean, it's just
you'll
better.
have better results. You'll have better yield on puppies, but most importantly, the dog itself is prepared to be a mother
Yeah.
Hmm
as opposed to still being a puppy herself.
Yeah.
Because Freya right now she's still a puppy, man. Every time I let her out to pee, she's got the zoomies, and
Yeah.
I mean,
She get
Oh,
out.
she's done.
oh God, I have to get a video. Every time I scramble for my phone, I'm
The
like
zoomies.
chasing a ghost, trying to
Look,
catch her
look,
to get off.
you gotta go and make a reel out of that.
I,
Go and make a reel and post
Cut her
dude,
loose and just film the whole thing.
when they
it.
when they run out the door, man, like we got some good athleticism in these dogs that I have, and I haven't seen anybody else's Zoom. I'm sure they do, but mine it's like a little terrier or something, man. They just like a Boston Terrier. They just it's crazy, man. I mean,
Yeah.
really flying around, digging, grunting and digging like a hog, just digging.
They're
Uh,
serious. They're taking it very, very
She she
serious, and
oh,
it's
she
fun
do
to
the
watch.
little butt squat when she
oh,
take off with
oh, yeah, yeah.
it.
She
She's
knows
got
what
that
I'm
red
talking
set
about.
Stop,
going.
baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and
Got
that's
the
yeah. I
power
have
behind it
Helios to the
now.
degree where, like, if I'm getting ready to open the kennel, I literally I go ahead and I unlatch both the top and the bottom latches, and I keep the door shut. And I'm just like ready, set, and then he gets down, and then as soon as I say go and open the gate, he calls it. And I'm telling you, it is so funny to watch a dog shaped like him move that fast. But man, he just flies for a potato,
Yes.
flying.
Hey, real quick. Amanda, I'm sorry, I've cut you off like 4 times tonight, but I know the audience and everyone that's in this host, like, there's nothing better than a happy dog.
Yeah.
Nope.
There's
True.
nothing better than just a happy dog that's just wagging its tail, that's really just enjoying the moment, that's enjoying just whatever's taking place, because a happy dog is a true, just like such a loyal companion.
Adam said I love Helios too. I do too, man. I'm gonna tell you
Mom
what, man. That dog,
might get in the pocket in the future. I'm just saying.
I love your dogs, but something about that particular
Yeah.
color that he's got. A person can say, that I didn't realize how uncommon that particular blend of color is until I've been in this as long as I have now. So I haven't seen another one like him.
Yeah.
And I don't breed for color, but man, what a beautiful color he
And,
is. That
and then
rust, that good rust color, man, with that
Yeah,
little bit
I
of
mean,
smut.
burnt terracotta red. I mean, he's so now get this though. This is actually pretty fun. I want to say it's Nikki Lynn. She's got Denza. Well, there's beautiful, also very very beautiful red sable. But now, so with him, it is so deeply ingrained in his genetics on his mother's side, on both sides, there is red sable, and it is
I,
strong. And he looks
I
just like
want
his
it.
mother. His mother was a red sable.
I
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah. So like literally, he comes by it very, very honestly. And I don't know if you've ever, if you're, are you friends with Dima
Uh, no,
from Positive Vibes from Danko
if
or
I'm
Deco?
not, you have to send me something so
Oh
I
my
can.
gosh. Yeah. So look at his page. That's where his mother's stock came from.
I'm a big fan
And
of that red sable.
yeah. Oh, like they all look, they have the same face. There's so many, and they have fawn sable, red sable. He's got everything over
He's
there, and
got
they
an
all look like him.
exceptional. He's got an exceptional little muzzle too. I like it. I like his little headpiece, man. He's a good looking
Yes,
dog.
he is.
Oh, he knows it. He knows it.
Yeah, he's a sexy little dude, man. He already knows. Yeah,
Yeah, he knows it.
he sure is. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And oh well, I got you, Trayvon. I got you here, man. I'm gonna go ahead and give you some flowers, man. I really appreciate you showing up, showing out for me tonight, man. And I want to congratulate you on having your first champion in your yard, man.
thank you, man.
I know it became official not long ago that you now have a champion male in your yard, and Kane is doing his thing, man. And
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure of watching him grow and watching him become what he is today, and seeing him at different stack offs on QBN,
Right.
and it's really been great to watch you with the dogs, man. You're Caleb, I know will vouch for this, but your work ethic, man, at your age, with I don't want to say temperament with a human being, but your personality, man, you're a very rare young man. I'm so glad to have you in my family, man, and part of my squad. You're an exceptional dude. I'm very appreciative of our friendship for sure.
Absolutely,
Oh
man.
yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
Kane's
it's
I really
looking good
appreciate
too,
it.
buddy. Yeah, all you guys, man. It's I mean, it's really something, y'all. It really is. I mean, and I've been really feeling. I won't. It's not worth going into why right now, but I've really had. I'm 43, and I've been very aware of my mortality lately. And life is so short, man. When you take away the years that you work and the years that you sleep and the years that you, um, you know, do all the things, the mundane things that you can't get around in life, and you strip all that away, and you look at the time you actually have to do what you want with this existence here. It's very limited, man. And to have good people doing things that they love and getting together on it, man, it's a big deal. I will kiss him in the mouth, Chris. All right, hey, hey, Chris, you get a kiss right in the mouth all the way from Mississippi too, boy. Uh,
Oh,
Cheers.
no,
Bring
Michael,
it
that
in.
was heartfelt, man. That really was. And you do
Yeah,
everything with your heart. You do everything with your heart.
Yeah.
Like, man, you've answered every call that we've ever called where you need to fill in. Like, every time you needed someone to fill in for someone to on this live, you answered that. Every time, man, I've called you personally, you've answered that. I need you to go on Chris Holiday's live because that was the day after Genesis passed. You answered that. You have literally answered every single call I've ever called you on. And man, some personal things that like don't need to be discussed right here, but man, you are that guy. You are the one that answers to everyone. So man, it's heartfelt and it's mutual. And everyone that's watching tonight, follow Creek Bank Kennels because that is a
Yes.
family-based
yeah.
program that
Yeah, if
stands
y'all
on
have any
things and that
questions or
is
need
really breeding
anything,
for the breed standard.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I love about you, especially Michael, is that like you are very, very vocal about your willingness to help and to be a mentor and to guide people when they have questions, especially when it's something that, I mean, that's your jam, that's your bread and butter. Like you want to help, and I love that about you. It's never let me help this person, see what they'll, see how this turns out and see if it goes good for me kind of deal. Like it's never been about that. All you want is to watch other people do better and
Right.
become more and help these dogs become better dog owners. And I there's just no one
thank you.
like you.
I really do. I hope that if people get anything from me, anything at all, I hope that they realize that you don't have to be a hater, man. You don't have to block somebody else's light to make yours shine.
There we go.
You can share and give and be open and do your best, and that's enough. It's gonna do its thing. Whatever, just put your heart and stuff, man, and treat people like you want to be treated. And you don't have to covet this information to be a good breeder. That's the thing. I think that's the biggest hang up in our community, if you ask me, is people want to hide the sauce. And I understand why they do it, but it's just not needed, man. You don't have to hide what you're doing. You don't have to hide how you stack your pedigrees. You don't have to hide this genetic stuff, man. Put it out there. Because all
Yeah.
it does is raise the bar. All it does is make all our dogs better, all
Yeah.
our
Fun.
programs better, and then we got more to compete for, more to work towards. And
Yeah.
and I like the competition myself. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it, man. That's
yes,
beautifully said.
Chris said, plenty of light for everybody. I agree,
Yep,
man.
I
And
agree.
then
Yeah,
hey, don't also go past the comment that hey, Christina Higgason said that's my guy. Tank
yeah.
Sinatra put flowers. And
Yeah.
Thank you,
that's
sir.
good stuff. Let's not go past
Yeah.
those now, Michael
Yeah,
Higgason.
you're
I
right,
want to make sure
right.
you read those. You deserve
Hey,
those
Tank,
flowers,
Tank
man.
Sinatra,
That's what
man,
Well,
makes
you
you
the
a
one
good
that needs
killer.
flowers.
Hey,
Tank, man, Sinatra. Golly, man, you are the OG of OGs, buddy. You really are, man. You're somebody to look up to in this thing for sure, buddy.
and for him to
yeah.
listen to you tonight and to give you the flowers, that
It, it
means,
means a
hey,
lot.
I said a lot.
It
Absolutely.
means a lot to me. It does. Yeah, absolutely, man.
good stuff. I love this crew. I love
I
our supporters,
I
man. I
do
love our
too.
viewers.
I do too, man. I can't wait to have everybody out, man. Get everything built this coming year, and just get everybody out here, man, and do like I don't know, we'll do something special with it.
An annual cook-off at the Higgasons,
Oh,
man.
Yeah,
At the Creek Bank.
that's a fact.
At the creek
At the
bank.
I
creek
love
Yeah.
bank.
it.
At the creek bank.
Yeah, I even had this like I don't know if I don't know when I'll be able to do it, but I even wanted like a little not a drawbridge, but just like a little bridge over the creek that comes into the Kennel Drive, and it says like Creek Bank Kennels and
Man,
all like
picture opportunity.
Yeah.
Everyone that
yeah,
comes there, right there.
right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
have the private, like you can't even get to the kennel without coming right over the creek, man. It'd be cool, but that's one of those things where it won't be at the starting line, but hopefully it'll be before the finish.
I
And
can
we will
dig
be
it.
there, my brother. We will be there. All three of us, Bruce, all four of us, we will be there.
Oh yeah.
Adam
Yeah.
Fields, we will
Oh
be
yeah.
Oh
there.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Adam will be there too, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's a
we'll
fact.
carpool up. He'll be with one of us. It's fine.
Yeah. And
Mama will be
we look, we gotta throw Mama the
Oh,
invitation. Look, she
Mama coming. Oh, come
Yeah,
on,
mama
Mama coming.
coming. Yeah,
yeah, we
mama
can't, we
coming.
can't drag Mama up here.
They're coming.
Hey,
We're
one
gonna
thing
be
I
there.
love about Adam is if you're talking to Adam, you're talking to Mama.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
You better watch your mouth. You better watch your
I've
language,
had
cause
to apologize to her many times.
Like, oh
Mama's
crap, I
gonna be
forgot.
right
I forgot
there.
to. Oh, Mama's listening.
Oh man, I don't know what I'd do without Mama Fields' prayers, man. She has put some praying in for me, boy. I tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's her. That's her nature. That's her way.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I'm really happy, man, that everything's where it's at, and I'm excited to see. I think this year everybody's going to be in a good place where we can really do some things, and I'm proud of all of y'all, man. Proud of I'm really proud of the community, man. Right now, we are the minority in the community. Those of us that really care about doing this right and stuff and learning, but I think it's spreading, man. To me, it feels like it is anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it's due to platforms like this, man. Got to give it to y'all for inviting me to something like this and letting me be a part of it and getting where I fit in, man. I think it's something that I don't know where people would learn this kind of stuff if it wasn't for things like this.
Right.
So it's a big deal, man.
Why we do it.
It's a big deal. 2 years, man.
2
I-
years.
Years, man.
That's
That's
crazy.
something, man.
Over 100, like it's got to be like 100 lives, man.
It's got to be
100.
100 lives, all kind of guests, man. You've had everybody on the show.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Not everybody, not yet.
Not yet.
Hey, we still got people. We still got people.
It's
Man, we
crazy
still
how it
got
keeps
people.
going, how it keeps going. But Michael, but tonight's about you, Creek Bank
Yep.
Kennels, man. I'm looking so much to the future, man. I'm looking towards that cook-off. I'm looking towards that bridge that's going over that creek. I'm looking forward to that
Mhm.
second building that's being built, that first building, the blueprints that you've I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Can't
Keep
wait. I'm
doing
excited
what you're doing.
myself.
We're so
Oh yeah.
excited as you are. I love
Hey,
it.
hey
I am.
Michael, while it's on my mind, speaking of your first facility, right?
Yeah.
How many runs do you plan to have in that first facility?
Mm.
I'm gonna do five on each side. I might do six. It depends on. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. I wanna do something a little different than I'm seeing anybody do. I'm gonna put a little more space in them, man.
Mm-hmm.
I am. I know people say the dogs don't need all that and stuff, but I think they do.
Mhm.
It's okay if they don't, but I like the size that Caleb's kennels are. That's one thing that he has over there. The dimensions
Mhm.
of his runs are a little wider than most, and I like that, man. I think a lot of people have them like 5 foot wide, and to me, that's not enough. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just want to do something a little bigger. Um, I do want to have indoor outdoor runs.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I want to have at least half of the outdoor part of the run with concrete. I want them to be able to get off the concrete if they want, but I want them to have concrete to lay on right there. I want to have an overhang. I want to have skylights in the main part of the building so that if I shut down the outdoor part of the run in the wintertime to hold in heat, they can still get sunlight. Um, I'm going to put a septic system in so that I can, drain everything and clean everything, have its own private septic. We
Love it.
got we got we got some big plans, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when I do the second building down the road, of course, I won't have the office and the whelping area and the grooming station and the kitchen and all that in there. It'll just be runs,
Right.
and then depending on so there'll be more runs in that building, and eventually the original building might just be females in heat,
Okay,
like
yeah.
Look how
just in the
thought
winter,
out.
just when
Look
they're
how
in.
thought out this process is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Bro.
that's the reason why I asked. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
He's a
I knew it was
planner.
already thought out. I
I,
knew it
I
was already thought out.
I'll
So,
put the females when they're in heat. I'll put them up there by the whelping area to kind of separate them, but another building from the dogs that are not in heat,
Agreed. That's a
and
good idea.
so yeah, give them
How
give,
do you
give
say
them
it?
give them their own. And then when they have the puppies, I'll be in the same building with the whelping room. I can just kind of
right.
Yep.
Michael is going to be living out there. He's going to be living out of his
Yeah.
house.
Hey,
yeah,
call
I'm
Mike
gonna
on the
have a
phone. Hey,
sectional
Mike, where you
couch
at?
out
And
there.
Mama.
Dog.
Michael
You're
and
gonna
Mama,
get
you're going to be living.
yeah.
Hey, look, when I get it built, that's where I'll be. Believe that.
He's
Uh,
gonna have to have a separate mailing address, so like we just know he's gonna be there. Just
yeah.
mail everything there.
Oh,
Don't have to forward it.
actually, it's funny you say that. That's actually the way you do that.
I
And the
believe that.
and the reason is because when you put a separate a mailing address, then you put a separate power pole. So then it's got its own bill, and that's all a deduction as opposed to tying
Sorry.
into the power at your main
You already
house.
got. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like if your power grid is tied to your house and whatever you have already, then you can't separate your power bill. You can
Love
deduct
it.
a percentage, but it's an average. If you had your own separate pole and your own separate address, then you can deduct all that electricity and all that water, all the utilities and all that are more deductible that way.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yes. I
Yep.
love that.
Yeah,
Michael
because it
Higgason,
got its
how
own
about this?
address and it can be solely for that.
Yes. Anyone trying to get hold of you, how
Oh,
to get hold of you?
You can reach me we're Creek Bank Kennel on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Creek Bank Kennel, man. You can reach out. I will not ignore you. Reach out, let me know if talking on Messenger's not enough, hit me up, man. I'll send you my number. We're an open book around here, man. There ain't nothing we won't talk about. And if I don't know the answer, I can go and get it.
There we go.
yeah.
I love that. And Amanda, before you close, Amanda is on live tomorrow night, BWO podcast with Jerry James. Y'all view in. Our
My
very own
guy, Jerry
Amanda
James.
Nixon. Get it, girl.
Oh yeah.
I'm
And
excited
Oh
for you.
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm
Amanda,
excited
why are you
about you
scratching your
live
head,
coming up
Amanda? Don't be
I'm
too.
so
scratching your
nervous.
head.
I'm so nervous. With you guys, it's so easy because we have this bond, and it's just like we can
you're
read
gonna
each
kill it.
other, and it's like,
You're gonna
but
kill it.
this is like
You're gonna kill it.
talking. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I
You are
don't know what I'm
so
gonna
ready
do. It's gonna
What time
be
is
great.
it?
for it. You deserve this moment. You've earned
Yeah.
this moment. Go and kill it. I
Go
love
and
it.
kill
I
Yeah.
love
it. Everybody loves
All
you,
of us will be
Amanda.
ready.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah, all of
What
us be right there in the comments watching.
You
Everybody
ain't
will
got an
still be there.
enemy in the whole world, Amanda. Everybody loves you. Look,
Oh, yeah.
what time is it tomorrow?
7.
I believe it is 7, right? Hold
Seven
up.
I
Central.
think 7.
Yeah. Okay.
8 Eastern
Yeah.
time,
I don't
7
know.
Central. I'm
I'm not.
almost certain. Jerry James,
Yeah.
I know he was in the comments earlier.
Yeah.
He might be
Jerry,
sleeping.
man. I love Jerry,
Man, I love Jerry.
man.
Hey, and then shout out to Jerry
Here.
James, man. The Bourbon Bullies that
Yes,
he's
that's gonna be
talking
fun
about
too.
doing on Saturday nights.
It's
Mm-hmm.
bourbon bullies and something else. I've
Yep.
seen that.
Beards.
Oh yeah.
Beards. That's it. Yeah.
Beards, bourbons, and bullies. Oh yeah.
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 7 p.m. Central. Adam looked it up.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Yes, but y'all view
Well,
it
if anybody
tomorrow
else
night.
has any other questions, man, anything in particular, uh, anybody want to get out of here or whatever,
Man,
just
Michael, I
let
just
me
want to say
know.
I love you, man. I love you as a
Love
brother,
you,
man.
brother.
Keep doing what you're doing. I'm so glad our paths crossed. Like, everything happens for a reason. This platform right here, like, Trevon literally was the glue that molded us together. And for him to come on tonight as the host, it was so 180, complete 180 on
Yeah.
how all this has come together and how we have been unified since that day and how you've become the 4th member of the live and everything that you do, man. Everything that you and your wife do, your child, man, I love it. I respect the hell out
Put
of you.
y'all look on a little celebration thing.
Hey.
Ah, it's a game, baby.
Wow.
Boy,
Worth the
look, I
wait.
don't play around, man. I'm just
Worth
telling you.
the wait.
Oh my gosh, what a way to finish this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't
Oh
that
man.
cool, man. I ain't that cool. Wow. All right. On that note, I can't live up to that.
Yeah.
He had the
I'm
finger.
telling you.
Party on, Wayne. All right.
I'm telling you. Look.
All right, there's no other way to close. We got to close it now because that was
All right.
perfect.
Hey,
All right, you
I
guys. I'll
love
be
all
putting this
y'all,
up on the
man. Thank
YouTube.
you very
All right.
much.
I love all
I
y'all,
love y'all.
man.
All right.
Take care.
Everybody in the
Good night, man.
All right, you guys. Thanks again.
comments.
Have a good night.